Okay, and we are live. Welcome to this week's live stream. Nobody here yet, so I will hold off a little bit until I start the topic. Oops, let me open the chat. Aminox is first. Fritz is there. I just had a call with Fritz. He's actually my best friend from Germany. He also appeared in 3 of my videos when we were looking for the best Wagyu in the world, or in Japan, maybe that's the same. And we found it somewhere on the way. So that's this guy, Fritz F 2001DE. That's him. All right, so we have 5 people. Let me get into the topic. It should be enough. As usual, in this stream, we talk about the topic in the beginning, sometimes, such as today. And once the topic is done, we can go in any direction. So if you have a question or want to talk about something specific, just let me know in the chat and we talk about that. While we are still waiting for other people to join, let me know where you're from, who you are, and all that. And not only me, but also the others. Can you hear the cars outside? It's always getting a little bit hot in here with me talking all the time in front of cameras. All right, let me get into the topic. Is Japan safe? Maybe what comes to mind first is, yes, of course, Japan is known to be like a very safe country, maybe, if not, probably not the safest, but among the safest in the world when it comes to crime. So homicide rate per 100,000 people is 0.31. It was in 2017. Which is number 1, at least back then it was. For example, for Britain, it's about 3 times as much, 0.92, and for the US, it's 4.88. So, like, what is that? 15 times or so as much. And worst is El Salvador with 108. That's a pretty high chance to be killed in a year. So this is in 1 year. For theft without bodily harm, in Japan, it's 356.2 per 100,000 people per year. Comparison, South Korea has 531 and the US 1,773. And England and Wales have 2,200, so a little more, quite more, a lot more, 8 times as much or so. When it comes to violent robbery, in America we have 101, in England and Wales 87, in Japan 2.41. That was in 2014. So these numbers are pretty reassuring, I think. You can feel more or less safe that when you're a tourist here, people won't steal your stuff and you also won't get killed in like in a corner of a street at night. For car thefts, the numbers are a little bit higher compared to other Asian countries. And scams, especially towards older people, seem to be on the rise. I don't know about last year and so on, within the Corona period. I guess it's also increasing as in other areas of the world. Now, for me personally, when it comes to crime, I never feel unsafe in Japan so far. I never felt that. One time, I know in 2014, I went to I think from Shinjuku to I don't know, Higashi Shinjuku, so 1 or 2 stations away. And I took not the main road, but a side road. And then there were like the people that tried to sell DVDs. And some people that were clearly on some conscience-altering things, drugs, I assume, didn't notice me and all that. Me? How could you not notice me? And so that definitely happens. However, I never feel, also in that situation, I didn't feel threatened or anything at all, or uncomfortable even. So in this 5 years almost that I've been here, I never had issues. Usually, maybe one story I can tell is when I was in Yokohama, lived there, I took the electrical bike to the station and I forgot to, so usually in Japan, bikes come with a lock, like one lock that you just locks the back tire. Probably you can easily break it, but that's the standard. And I forgot to lock that, and it means the key is inside. And I went to work and I forgot the key. And talked to my colleague, and he's like, yeah, it's okay. Japanese colleague, he said, it's fine. And it was fine. And since I moved to Nagano City here in the countryside, I've never locked my bike so far. So I go to the station in the morning, first train, go to work, come back the next day, and I don't lock my bike. which I also did in Germany back then, and then the bike was gone. So that's like the contrasting story there. So yeah, when it comes to that, I'm also feeling pretty safe. One time I also lost my phone, my work phone on the train, which is of course not so great because it's potentially secret information on there. I went to the station staff to get it back, and they called the final destination of the train, but it was not found there. So that means either somebody took it or it was found at an earlier station. And then at some point I just gave up and didn't want to get into it more. Give me a second. So, and then maybe a month later or so, the police contacted my company and said, we have a phone here, it belongs to this guy, please have him come and pick it up. And that's what I did. I had to give them just my business card, I think, as a proof. Yeah, trust system, I guess. So even that work phone eventually came back somehow. Then I had two because I got a new one. So that means so far I didn't have issues. But of course, as you may know, in Japan in the morning during rush hour, many of the major lines in Tokyo have special cars for women. And that is because they are molested on the train. So groping or something, or taking inappropriate pictures, especially from women in skirts, happens. And because that happens especially in crowded trains where it's like kind of you bump into somebody anyway and then, you know, you inappropriately touch. Since that happens anyways, there's this women-only car, usually in the front or back of the train, which women and kids, I think, until the end of elementary school can board. Also handicapped people and their attendants. So that's definitely an issue. This exists. Also, I talked to my Japanese teacher when I had one in 2018. And she, in her childhood, she had experienced 2 burglaries. So as a kid, she like, who's that? I ran into a burglar. And he said, I'm this kind of person. Kind of roughly translated. And then he left. And one time, I think it was even some guy who was willing to kill or so, or maybe he did kill, but for some reason he didn't. And another time she told me they usually had like money close in the entrance on a table or so. And then usually you have an entrance area where you put your shoes and then the door. And somebody just opened the door and took it. So somebody who knew, they find out later it was the postman or something. But this definitely is also there. So it's not 100% safe country or like heaven. And you don't have to do any security or so. So you still lock our door, and whenever I forget that, my wife gets angry. Then there's also the shady areas, quote unquote, like Kabukicho or Roppongi. Roppongi on the wrong side of the crossing, I would say. And there it's often the case, I hear, I've never been in this situation, but that people get pulled into bars more or less, so the people outside saying, hey my friend, how are you doing, do you want a drink or so, and then try to kind of lure you into the bar, and then you pass out because they put something, knockout drops or something in your drink, roofies, and the next day you have a $5,000 credit card bill. So you don't remember anything, you feel terrible, and then you check your credit card bill and then, oh, that happened. And this is apparently not too infrequent, especially to foreigners that are here for the first time or something like that. And wait a second. Oops. Okay. So, and that's a couple of things I think you need to keep in mind when it comes to criminality and safety in that regard in Japan. Let me open my notes again. Then on a side note, don't do drugs. Don't do drugs in Japan. So it's not allowed. It's very, it will be prosecuted. If you're a foreigner, that means you have to leave the country. So even some light drugs or so, or something that may be legalized in your country or state like marijuana is not okay. So don't do that if you can. And of course, there's another part. Safety is not just criminality. Safety is also, for example, natural disasters. And when you do the math, when you have a homicide rate of 0.31 per 100,000 and you have 120 million people, then you have about 380 homicides per year. And that means across the last 20 years or so, your chance of dying by natural disaster is higher than by homicide. So Japan has, of course, as you know, lots of earthquakes. The biggest one I experienced so far was in 2014 at 6.5. And then a lot of small ones, I guess up to 5 or so. Then there are typhoons, which happen every year. Usually not so much in this region here in Nagano, because it's surrounded by mountains, which kind of keeps it away. But 2 years ago, Typhoon Hagibis was pretty tough here. So a lot of this area was flooded. There have been some pictures of the flooded Shinkansen trains of this area, the Kagayaki. That was all here. Then there is a nuclear disaster in Fukushima, still being taken care of for the next 20 years or so. As you may know, they are thinking about unleashing the decontaminated water into the Pacific again. What I read is like they think of a safe place to put that water, and they say it's the Pacific. Doesn't sound so clever, but apparently it's not as radioactive now that it has been, or almost not now that it has been decontaminated. But obviously I'm no expert on the matter at all. And then of course there are volcanoes. So that's there, volcanoes. A lot of volcanoes actually. One time I came home from Tokyo, and somewhere, I think it was Nagano, there was one volcano like getting off steam. So definitely happens. I've never seen a volcano erupt like really with lava and all that. But also that obviously happens. Mount Fuji is also an active volcano, although I think it hasn't erupted in the last almost 150 years or so. Still, like Shizuoka and all these like cities get really close to the mountain, I feel, or close to a point where I asked my wife, why would you do that? Why would you risk that? But probably, if you think about it more in Japan, that's not the only place. Like you almost have no other choice from a certain size of, from a certain density of population, I feel. I don't know if that's actually true. And then, of course, natural disasters is one thing. Then there's nature itself, bears, snakes, and so on. That happens. That's also here in Japan. I've seen a bear in the zoo, a Japanese bear, standing about my height. Seems pretty powerful. If possible, I wouldn't want to fight with them. I think, when was that? 91 or so, a bear killed 4 people to eat them actually, which is rare in Japan. But again, this is a couple of years back, so it probably doesn't happen so frequently. Still, I think 4 people is pretty impressive, because I would guess you kill one and while that happens, the others run away. But apparently, or at least not, and all not in one line or so, like spread out. But apparently somehow the bear managed. And then, of course, last but not least is Corona. And currently it's getting better as far as I'm aware of. Vaccinations starting also in companies. At least the preparations. I think from day after tomorrow the state of emergency should end. Day after tomorrow, vaccination should start in companies. Not in mine yet. I think we will do it eventually, but I don't have a date yet. And that's all I have for this topic. Now let me go through your comments. So, Kara is here. Nitrogen monoxide is here. Good to have you all. I'm me, a collection of... Okay, because I asked in the beginning to introduce yourself, Alminox says he's a collection of molecules bound together by my individual will. And I reside in the least interesting corner of the Milky Way. Who knows? I guess that's perspective. John is here, Ninja Monkey, Nathan's here. Asks how's things in Japan, weather, events and so on. So weather is okay. So last days have been above 25 degrees and above. Now today it's raining and 20 degrees or so. Still I'm sweating because it's getting humid now. And the next days will be hotter again. So it's nice, not too bad. The rainy season doesn't affect me a lot right now. It's like we have 2-3 days so far with a little bit of rain, so it's fine. And no events. Eminox had a nice woman miss her train because she chased after him because she noticed that I dropped my iPod case as I got off the train. Excellent, nice. I mean, I guess what you should do actually. I did it also a couple of times, certainly. Like one guy dropped his keys a couple of months ago in the Matsuya here. That's a fast food restaurant-ish thing. I mean, he would have gotten it anyway, but I saw it, gave it to him. I think one time also when somebody left a train and so on. I mean, usually, I don't need that, right? So in the first place, I don't need that. And then, of course, it's not the decent thing to do is to give it back. Well then. Demiran is here. Hello. How is everybody doing? Finally managed to join the live stream after such a long time. Nice. Yeah, today 1 hour earlier than usual. I hope we still get a couple of people here. Subka Daddy's here. Not very late. Not very late at all. So just started 15 minutes ago. No problem. Yeah, Demiran, imagine where Japan would be economy-wise if not for the billions and billions spent combating environmental disasters and their after effects. Who knows? Fritz tries to correct me saying rare, and John says, yesterday a bear attacked several people in Sapporo. Oh, there you go. I imagine Sapporo has a little more bears, maybe? Maybe not. I don't know. Aminox, you still have yet to remove the 2 yellow-orange circles in your animation. Oh, I didn't even see that. Thank you so much. Yes, I wrote down to do that and even opened the page and then didn't. And the funny thing is, as you've seen last time, it works when you do a super chat, apparently, and it doesn't work when you do the directly through that site that provides the animation. But thank you so much, as always. Very much appreciated. So we had $310. That means almost 1/3 of the drone goal. So we are getting there. We are getting there. Maybe I just have to, like, you know, pay the second half from my money, donate from me, and then we get it faster. Who knows? The next shoot I have will be on the 2nd of July, in 2 weeks, in 13 days, which will be here, not so far from here, in a town called Ida Shi. Maybe it's a city, Ida Shi. In a town, in a village that's a part of Ida. And there I will shoot my most favorite space in Japan, my most favorite place in Japan. And I hope it will work out well, mostly. Also, today I had a good run when editing the next video, so got good progress, still very far from being done, but slowly I can see like a story and like a structure. And that's very reassuring, that at least that is there, and hopefully then it works with what we have around that, or what I have around that. What do you want to do with the drone? I want to shoot Japan from above. So, you know, I'm in Nagano now, and Nagano, when I look outside, I see mountains there, and houses. In the distance there are mountains, and over there mountains, and over there and over there. Because it's surrounded by mountains, that means if I go anywhere, for example, the next video will be about Narai, which is a town in the mountains. And the video I shoot after that will be about a town already a little bit on the mountains, like a ski resort area. And all that, you know. It's good to have it on the ground, and that's where the action is happening, but still to give you perspective of where we are, how this looks like around us. It's much easier. I imagine it to be much nicer for you to understand and easier for me to transport if we have aerial shots. And that's what the drone should be for. And yeah, I guess certainly the image I have of what footage I want to provide you and what I will be able to produce in the beginning will be quite different, but then slowly, hopefully I get there, at least closer. The drone goal is slowly turning into the Aminox donation project. Come on everybody, chip in a bit. I totally support Aminox's message here. But then of course, if you don't want to or can't, so it's totally fine. John's question: how have you developed your video making skills over the last 4 years? Have there been other YouTubers who have helped you? Yes. So I think, especially in the beginning, I felt it's all great. So I thought my first video was excellent. I mean, when I made it and when I edited, I saw like I made mistakes. When you watch it now, you see if I watch in the camera and then I say something and already look at the screen. So I don't keep the attention long enough to actually make a proper cut. That was very tough. And I have no B-roll or so I just talk in front of the camera and say it's here. But then I don't show you what I'm pointing at with a close-up or so things like that are there. Music choice, so. Oh no, but it was entertaining, I feel, when I watch it back now. I watched it like a couple of months back. And then I made 2 more videos. And this third video I posted to a YouTubers in Japan Google Plus group. So that's how far back this was. And I got feedback by a friend from the channel Guy Gillionaire, GTV, who makes excellent videos about everything that's related to Nintendo, Sega, and this kind of games. He just yesterday, or today, was it today, posted a 1-hour video to because it's the 30th anniversary of Sonic in like 2 days or so. 1-hour video, can you believe that? And like all good quality. And not like him walking around, but actually animation and this and that, you know, voiceover. 1 hour, amazing. And this guy, he was TV, I think, what was that? News show producer. And he's like, I said, give me feedback. I didn't expect to get feedback, actually. Usually you don't get that. All you get is like maybe 1 or 2 people click. But he actually gave me feedback, and he's like, Guy, first of all, never jump cuts. Never do jump cuts. Then your framing is off. You see like you half your torso. And we have the rule, second button of the shirt. That's what they do, at least in this. Now YouTube is a little wider usually, but like second button of the shirt. And your microphone was on the camera is way too far away. Like the audio is terrible. And that's just from my ear, like whatever iPad earplug things, you know, the cheap ones. And he could go on and on, but this was already so helpful. And like, of course, my pride took a big hit, but I took it, hopefully for the better, I think. And this was some really good feedback. This was the one, I think, one of the probably 2 really helpful in the beginning. And in the beginning, of course, it has the biggest impact. And the second one was a friend of mine who makes video photos and stuff, and who also did the original Japanese Journey intro from around April 2017, I think. He told me, first of all, you sit on your couch and you have a green curtain behind you, half open. Why? What do you want to tell me? Everything in the screen must have a meaning. You need to tell a story. Everything must be on purpose. And also you have a pimple. Get like a makeup, you know, concealer thing and do that. and also get some lights. No matter, like spend $50, get 2 cheap lights. It's way better than no lights at all. And actually I used these lights that I then bought for the next, until last year. So almost 4 years, 3.5-ish years I used them. I mean, they were not great. They had like they were like strong and very strong. These are the options I had. They were not great and so on, as I said, but yeah. This was like the most impactful, I think, had a big impact on my quality, on my video quality overall. Then last year I changed again to a better light and constructed this background and things like that. But yeah. And then changed the camera also 2 years ago and so on. But I think that's the biggest. That's the 2 biggest. The other, so one YouTuber and one friend, not a YouTuber. Now, how have you developed your video making skills? I think it goes more. I personally like watching things like how to do the cinematic. I think it's nice for the eyes, but I think it doesn't make sense to use this kind of YouTube cinematic in a kind of video that I do usually. Sometimes maybe a short sequence. And I found if I do that too long, if it's longer than 10 seconds or so, I lose viewers. So maybe 5 seconds maximum. So that means 4 shots maybe 5. That's it. And yeah, if I do like a sequence in the beginning of the video, like everybody's like, so the retention rate goes like down to 50% or so. And then because people switch fast forward, then it goes up again a little bit after 3 minutes. And I don't want that. So this kind of cinematic stuff probably only works, I feel, for people that talk about cinematic stuff. And what I feel works for me and others that do what I do is actual cinematic stuff. So the things they actually use in videos, like how to frame properly, how to, you know, make a scene interesting, not just walk from A to B, but show maybe the feet or whatever, or from the back, or different angles that are meaningful. And that's what I try to do more and more, as much as I can. And sorry, that works best if I have the time to think about it and make a storyboard and all that. So the last video in Narai was not like that. So I kind of now in edit, I have to make up a lot and make it fit. That's also okay. But still, yeah. All right. Okay, I just checked. The thing has not changed with the donation. That's too bad. Okay, so then. Demiran says, I would love to produce a short piece of music or sound effect for me, for Johannes, for this guy, to be played every time you get a donation. Yeah, just do that, no worries. I mean, that being said, I'm very picky. It's not a video, so probably not that much. If it's just fine, if it's not obscene or so, I will take it. But if somebody wants to contribute something to videos, I'm usually very, very picky these days. Even with collaborations now. John says, for those who are not Patreon members, they should know that your Coffee in Narai video, only 44 seconds long, is so beautifully crafted. It looks like it was made by a film school graduate. Thank you. Actually, I took only 30 minutes or so to make this the one day, and then the next day I came back and thought, need some sound effects here. Then I feel like I did a maybe okay job with that, and that was it. Again, I see. Now I see what John means. It was supposed to be 2. These 2 comments were supposed to be 1. 200 character limit. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, there's this sequence in my last post on Patreon. If you haven't seen it, and if you want to become a patron, again, you don't have to. Demirian says, I love it when people get hard critique on their work, and instead of whining about it, they actually work on getting better at that certain thing. Yes, it's very hard, I feel, to get honest feedback. Oh, Aminox, $10. This animation is terrible. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Still, though, the good point about these bubbles is they hide the Family Guy character, so I don't get demonetized. Oh, wait. This stream isn't monetized anyway. So cancel that. Maybe it's just not good. And yeah, again, so real critical feedback is so helpful. And most people don't do that, unfortunately. And also, I mean, maybe I could argue that on my level, from a craftsman perspective, maybe it can be a lot of things can be seen as like style or so, which I think is fine. But I think I can improve a lot when it comes to YouTube content, like getting to the point quick and keeping the audience entertained and so on. All right. Aminox says, now the background is all about the bokeh. Yeah. Could we get more bokeh with this one? Where are we? No, we couldn't. Because pretty white and that it doesn't. But yeah, bokeh. Blurry background. I have some other lenses that could do that pretty well, but then you see only my face. All right. It's criminal that Gaijillionaire doesn't have more views. Yeah, certainly. I mean, he has made a big jump. Like half a year ago, he had like less than 15,000. Now he's almost 30,000 subscribers. So that's pretty good, thankfully. And now he gets more views on his videos. Like he's the opposite of me. Now I get probably less views than half a year ago. But I also changed what I'm focused on. Do you script? Yes, usually. Depends. So today's script for this intro is, how much is that? Yeah, 300 words or so. So it's more, I would say, more bullet points for this one. So, and it talked like 10 minutes or so, right? I mean, this was not delivered as concise as I would do in a video. But if I do something like this and talk into the camera sitting in my room, then I script everything. And then I also can take the script and upload it as subtitles. And otherwise I don't do subtitles because I'm too lazy. And yeah, then I script. And for when I go outside, then sometimes I script some parts. For example, for Narai, I script the intro, where I'm certain I can deliver that. Or when I know where I'm going. And other than that, I just have like a list of shots or things that I want to get for telling my story, ideally. Sometimes I don't have time to prepare that, or I really don't know what's happening, such as in Narai, and then I have to make it up in post, which is terrible from a time management perspective. It's always faster to think about it in advance, I think. All right, chimichanga. Yeah, sorry for making it early today. Yeah, today I want to do it a little earlier because I want to do some editing after for the next video. Because my family is not here, so I can do that. In your opinion, how important is a gimbal? So this is a gimbal, whoop, stabilizer. I never use it almost, so it's one of the worst investments I did in my YouTube career so far. And that is because this camera has a very good in-body image stabilization, and probably your camera, the A7S III, also has that, at least sufficiently, Ninja Monkey. So I feel it's depends on what you want to do, of course. Now, gimbal takes time to set up and so on, so I lock everything in pre-position and so on, so I just have to mount the camera onto the quick release plate and put it on there and it's working. But still, that still takes time. And then you have to hold the gimbal and it's heavy. But still, I mean, if you want to go do something like a dolly shot or something like walking in, and maybe a cameraman walks in and then somebody walks faster into frame and so on, that looks really good. That's like a money shot. And you need a gimbal for that, most likely. But in order to get really good with a gimbal, you need to practice a lot, and just like with a camera. But you don't need a gimbal to make a good video. So if you have the time and you're willing to invest, I think it's good. If you do specific kinds of video, like maybe when you come to Japan next time you want to shoot a lot of ryokan or inside and so on, then maybe it's nice to have, you know, if you want to have this, again, dolly shot into a room or so, very wide lens, that looks great on a gimbal. Again, I usually don't use it, especially when I'm alone, it takes too long. For the next shoot I will use it because it's about a ryokan, a Japanese inn, hotel. But then I also have time because I stay overnight. So that's like, I feel you may be able to invest it better in like maybe a wireless lavalier mic or light, but your light already looks good and your sound is probably also, I don't know. But do you use a lavalier or so? I mean, now since you say gimbal, I assume you want to use that for vlogging. Outside, not in your room, right? I mean, I can show you at least what I have in my camera bag. Wait a second. This is over here, actually. Maybe that helps you, at least from what I pack. So I have this camera here and this lens, which is pretty big. And I have a tripod actually in this bag, which is a Peak Design tripod. It's super expensive. Then I have, on this side here, I have a ton of batteries. So for this camera, then I usually have this action cam with me. So that's also in here, which also can connect them. Oh, no, it dropped. It has an adapter for proper microphone because the audio is not, no, sounds like a can. Wait a second. Where did it go? And then I have this lens. Oops. That's a 60mm Sigma lens. Looks great for like shooting myself when I have a tripod or so, or people in general, because like a 32mm full frame equivalent. So that's great to have. Also has an ND filter on it. This one also has an ND filter, variable ND. That's like sunglasses for your lens. So this way you can get like the blurry background because you open the lens really wide, get lots of light in, and still have it not be super bright. Then I have, sorry, I'm getting a little bit into gear. I try to make it quick. I have a small camera for when I'm inside and still need a kind of okay low light performance. That's a 1-inch sensor in here. This one here. And I have a color chart for accurate color. This is probably a really good investment. So if you can use something like this to get accurate real colors, and maybe a white for white balancing, a real white or gray, that's probably a great investment. Costs like $100 or so. And then I have a voice recorder and a lavalier mic here. So usually I plug this into this one, mic into the voice recorder, switch it on and leave it on the whole day. And then I just sync and post the audio to the video. And then I also have this mic here. Doesn't require batteries, so I can just put it on the camera. And in the worst case, if something goes wrong with this audio, then I still have this one, which is okay, but not as good as when it's really close to me. And that's all. So you see there's no stabilizer or anything. So usually when I film myself, I use tripod. I have no other way. I don't want to use this kind of bendy tripod because it's bendy and it's not reliable, and I need to find something to put it up on, or have this unpleasant shot angle from the floor where I look like this. And with this one, it's also small. It's much more reliable. It can hold like a cinema camera. It's light. It fits into my backpack. So, and then when I'm not filming myself, usually I have it handheld. All right, that was a lot. All right, different games here. Good evening. Nice. The circles, Aminox says about the donation thing, the circles hide the donor's messages. Yes, I can see them though when I check them on the web page. Let me check that. It also tells me here actually. Aminox, oh, check again. Nice, thank you, thank you. Okay, so first message, Aminox said the weekly offering for the drone fund, and second message was check again. So, thank you. Yeah, I should check again. Right, then. Aaron Creative says, my two questions are, how safer you feel like a foreigner at Japan and how the Wi-Fi work in Japan? Okay, so I don't feel unsafe at all in Japan. So I think there's no level of safer. If you compare it to maybe my home country, Germany, I feel safe in Japan. I mean, I don't feel unsafe in Japan. In Germany, I also walk home at midnight or so, through dark places in my part of Germany, which is South Munich and so on. However, there are unpleasant situations sometimes with people behaving threatening or so, maybe not to me, but general to somebody or so, which is not nice. Which happens rarely in Japan. Happens, but not too much. And even if it does, I don't feel threatened or anything, like physically. And then Wi-Fi. So public Wi-Fi I feel is not so good here. But it's easy to rent a portable Wi-Fi thing at the airport. And it's pretty fast. There are even like vending machines spitting out SIM cards at the airport. You can get those two if you don't want to talk to somebody. Because then Wi-Fi you have to send back and so on. I think that doesn't happen with the SIM cards. And a friend of mine, Fritz, who was also in the chat here earlier, he got the pocket Wi-Fi in 2017 when we traveled around, and was fast, reliable, no issues at all. That was a good investment, I think. Ninja Monkey says, you also mentioned looking at analytics. I still don't know how to use it. I should figure that out, I guess. Yeah, analytics. Let me see. Google Analytics. YouTube Analytics. Not open. Yeah, I mean, what I look at... I do look at the views for the last 48 hours, which are essentially meaningless, I think. I do look at how a video is performing for click-through rate, for view time, for average view time, and for views. But I think... and total view time. Yeah, I think click-through rate and view time are the most important ones. So if you have a video that's 10 minutes and you get people to watch for 7 minutes, you're pretty good, I think. 70%. It's actually amazing, outstanding. And then if you get your click-through rate really high, then you have a viral video. So the highest click-through rate I have had was 19%, so 19, not 90, 19. And click-through rate means somebody sees your video, the thumbnail on YouTube, and clicks on it to watch it. So now click-through rate itself is not actually so good of a metric because it doesn't differentiate from where. So for example, on YouTube you have the front page and you have the subscription feed, and many people on your subscription feed click through because they're there to watch you. And YouTube does not weigh that. They weigh clicks from the front page, from discovery, from search. but it's still mixed into this number, and it's obviously very high in the beginning because of that. Oh, there's some insect landed. So it's not really, it's kind of has a meaning, but it's, yeah, you know, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect number. I would love to have it broken down more. So that's the ones I actually care about, and I think YouTube does also, I feel. So, I mean, YouTube wants people to watch, right? The more they watch, the more money they make. And if you can provide it, one, by telling YouTube, if you show this to people, they click it, so that means they watch. And then if they click it, they actually watch it for a long time. What else can you provide, right? That's my thinking, at least. All right. Ninja Monkey says, Demiren, there is something called Shopwith. It's basically free Google courses about stuff like YouTube Analytics, ads, etc. Shop with Google or Skillshop. There you go. I didn't know. I have the Raven Eye with the gimbal, which can track me. So as a solo creator, it's cool, but does take time. Yeah, right. There's also for this gimbal here, the Zion, they also have like an accessory where you could do that. I think. Could you? No, I could just see me on my phone. I think use the phone as a screen. And they have a remote. No, they have a, then I could use the phone or a remote for the gimbal as well or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, no, that's too much. I mean, then my whole backpack would be full just with the gimbal stuff. I mean, right now when I use the gimbal, I put it on the back of the backpack. That's where it goes. And then it also has a rain cover. In case something gets wet, should get something, in case the weather is not good. So when I went to Togashi with Victor in winter, in December, then I also had brought my gimbal and tripod and all that stuff. And also like had it on the back of my camera. Had it on the back of my backpack, you know? It's already getting late. It's just 15 to 9, but it's getting late. All right. Ninja Monkey uses a wireless microphone, nice. And I want to invest in better lighting because although what I have is good, it's not LED and produces so much heat. I need to pause and cool down sometimes. Yeah, I can see that totally. Also before I didn't have LED. Now I have this one. It's like a fill light. So that's like not the full power. Can get a little bit more like this the full. I have it at 25% usually here. So to give you an idea, it stands next to my camera here. To give you an idea, this is 25% and this would be 100. So usually what you say is the shadow side, this side should be facing the camera. So this is the weaker light here, maybe like this. So you have a little bit of more contrast. And then I have another LED light. This is a Falcon Eyes SO48TD. So it's 48 centimeters, I think, which is pretty thin. That's nice because in Japan you don't have space. And it's also, I think, at 25%. And it was a great investment. This one, I don't know. I take it with me sometimes, and it's okay. This was like 20 bucks. It's not a quality light, but it's still good to have. Like, I was thinking about getting the smaller version of this one too, but in the end, since I'm not filming a lot inside anymore, I don't. I did bring this one to Narai with me. So I have batteries, like big batteries I can put on that and it runs for 5 hours or so. All right. And I don't have a wireless mic, so we used the wireless mics, what was that? Rode Wireless Go 2 for the last video. So the other YouTuber who helped me with that, he had them. And it was okay, but because it's two, I had one and then the person I interviewed had one. After that, we did some shooting or so, or maybe I just should say something to the camera. But because this person was also connected, we have his or her audio overlaying mine with the same intensity. And you can do it in a way that one channel, it's two mono channels, one is mine, one is the other person's, and we didn't. And we also didn't do it like it. It can also record into the device and transmit. And we also didn't have this setting. This would have been very helpful in hindsight. So still a lot to get wrong. And probably what we also didn't do then, because we had this, we didn't have this one here as a backup. And also in hindsight, I would do it differently. But still, I want this kind of microphone. It would be helpful. Battery life would be nice if it was longer. I think it's 7 hours or so, or 5 or so. If it was 12, that would be perfect. Especially if it gets cold, I imagine that doesn't last as long. Okay. And yeah, if you watch my old videos, then you sometimes see I'm super greasy or sweaty, and that's because of the lights and because of Japanese summer maybe, but sometimes even in winter. It's like, terrible. You have a great setup, man. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Ninja Monkey. Appreciate it. I mean, again, as we talked like a couple of streams ago, since I'm married, I can't justify a camera as good as yours right now. But at some point, if this all gets very successful and brings a lot of money, then yes, then we can invest into that. So certainly, when I feel like when I shoot in darker places, where the depth of field is very shallow, I feel like a camera that has good autofocus would be really, really helpful. So at one point, I'm sure this will happen, but not yet. Konbanwa, Tayu Tayu. Aminox says, a good video takes time. My rule of thumb is 1 hour of video shot for every minute on screen. 1 hour of editing for every minute on screen. 1 hour of preparation for every minute on screen. Mine is different, probably. Usually I would have like 2 to 3 hours for a 10-minute video. So the ratio is different. The next one will be 8 hours for 15 maybe. So it's maybe half an hour for 1 minute. Preparation, not as long. Maybe a day. How much is that? 8 hours. So again, 30 minutes or so. Editing, way more. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Ninja Monkey says, sorry, I always make him talk about tech stuff. Yeah, that's because, you know, all YouTubers eventually have to be into video making, right? Not all, but everybody that does things like that, travel videos or anything. And then, of course, we never talk about it on camera because that's not what the audience wants. So when somebody triggers that, then we get at it and it starts coming out and we get excited and so on, and nobody else is, and everybody leaves the live stream, such as now. Okay, Harem Protagonist is new to the channel. Welcome, thank you for being here. I'm here from your day in the life video. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, this was a nice video. I'm very well received and I also like it. I tried to do it like a day in my life, like pretty unspectacular, but my challenge was A, to make it better than 90% of the other day in my life videos, and B, make maybe not boring, the ordinary, make the ordinary extraordinary to some extent, like make it at least interesting. That was my goal. And at the same time, I decided not to talk to the camera, except for this one sequence where I talk about subscribing and so on, and sharing, because I also don't talk to cameras in my real life. Aaron Creative asks, says sorry if my question wasn't good. Did I answer that actually? Okay. Oh yeah, no worries. Ask anything you want. No, there are no. At least I heard there are no bad questions, only bad answers. Fastest Wi-Fi I've ever used anywhere in the world was at Courtyard by Marriott Tokyo Station. Amazing speed, says John. All right. Marriott sounds expensive. They should have fast Wi-Fi. Nitrogen Monoxide says, here they seem to focus on faster 4G speeds rather than faster Wi-Fi for the public. Yeah, I see. I mean, I understand that, but it's as a tourist, right? And if you want to be like a tourist country, then of course it's helpful. It's hard to get a phone number in Japan if you don't live here, maybe even impossible. So I think the phoning is the thing. You can get the data, so you can rent that and so on, but I think phone number, maybe you can rent a phone in itself. At least you could like 12 years ago. Don't know how it's now, since obviously I now have a phone in Japan. Susanne says, we are on the lake, dear Johannes, and missing you. Missing you too, mom. That's my mother. And enjoy the lake. Aminox says, you have the key and fill lights, but you could improve by adding the rim. Yeah, I did that sometimes. I think I used this one. No, this one, sorry. As a rim. And I could, yeah, certainly. So rim light is like the one from the back that gives me like maybe a little glow. It separates me a little bit more from the background. But yeah, I don't have it. Because then I would need the light stand again to have it either from the top or have it from the bottom. Probably from the top, a little top, and put it somewhere where nobody sees it. Yeah. And that's too much for me right now. But again, if I find some light somewhere by some chance, or I feel like I really need that now, then maybe I get it. But right now I don't feel like it. Day in the live video had amazing sound effects, made me laugh out loud. Yes, and it was not the first time I think I heard it from you, but yeah, I guess you mean the crunching. I think that was the only ones, right? Yeah. Ninja Monkey says, you mentioned bears. In Hokkaido, I saw what I'm guessing were stuffed bears or bear models, and they were so scary, oh my god. And recently I read that there's a debate that the bear bell doesn't work. I see. I mean, there's one the bear with a watermelon thing. That's like a what do you call that? Not idol. Mascot. The mascot of some region. I forgot where, and it's really scary. Maybe I think that's Hokkaido. Maybe that's the one. And I don't know if the bear bells will work or not. Maybe to some extent, but of course, if you get close to the kids, then it's game over. Yeah, that's all I know. Still, I mean, what do you have to lose, right? Better to have it than not, I guess, or at least not worse. Demarian says, "All right, that's it for me." Oh no, already. Okay, thank you for having been here. Have a great day. And I'm caught up with the messages. Excellent. Hey Andre, good to have you here. Yeah, Iminox. It has been always the drone fun thing. Iminox, but also, you know, right? It was usually about like at least one or two others. Who was it? Daniel, I think, right? But Daniel now is not in the situation anymore, so it's just you. What is the food like in convenience stores? I've seen some videos on the food and it seems to be better quality than you get over here. I hear that too. We don't have convenience stores where I'm from, so I can't really compare. I only know Japanese ones, but it's okay. You can take that as a lunch. Many people do that. When I worked in the office, I often went for breakfast for a couple of months at least. So it's okay, I think. It's not outstanding. I guess these kind of videos get views, that's why they are made. Maybe also because they are better than what you expect, maybe 7-Eleven or so. I don't know. But speaking of convenience store food, I have something here. That's umeboshi. Honey umeboshi. Ume is plum, boshi means dry, hoshi means dry. Hachimitsu, hoshi, ume. Which is sour, kind of, but this is honey, so maybe it's not so much. I actually would prefer normal umeboshi, if you know that. It's pretty like sour, but it makes you, it gets like your energy flowing. So let me show you. Looks like this. Flat. And the good thing about convenience stores is usually most of them have a toilet. So if you are somewhere and then you need a toilet, you know, bathroom, then probably you find it there. And also they have garbage dustbins, litter boxes, whatever you say in your area. Because that's not common publicly in Japan. That's not existing. That's the right one. The mascot you're thinking of is Melon Bear. Yes, obviously, from Yubari City in Hokkaido. There you are, Yubari. I think the bear is more popular or more well known, more famous than Yubari City. Bear bears are great to identify missing hikers in bear poop. That's good point. Sweet umeboshi? No, not sweet. Not sweet. I haven't had sweet. I don't know if I ever had sweet umeboshi. They are not super sour right here. I would prefer real ones, like the normal sour ones, but that's what I have now. Probably I would prefer real ones because I'm not so used to sweet stuff. There's only one or so left. Tough times. Have to go to Family Mart again. 2 left. But it's life, I guess. Do you like mochi? I think it has such a strange texture, but it's really nice. Took me some time. And depends. Sometimes. And usually there's sugar inside, so recently I didn't eat it. I eat like the ones that are salty. And usually then they're like grilled, you know, or on charcoal grills or something on that. I like that. But then it's not so mochi anymore. So what is that gum-like thing? But I like that one, yeah. At least now. And probably also speaking of Japanese sweets, probably Japanese sweets, if I were to ever go back to eating something with sugar, then probably it would be Japanese sweets. Because I would like to eat something with anko, so that's the red bean paste. But it's a sweet red bean paste, and the sweet means sugar. There's sugar. There's always sugar inside, and things like that, or like even the sweet potato mash thing that they have here. Would also like to eat that again at one point and so on. So maybe one day if I go back to something that is sweet, it would be like that because it's not as extreme as Western or non-Japanese sweets. Do you like mochi? I answered that. Umeboshi goes well with rice. Yeah, I think it goes well without rice as well. I didn't think so a couple of years ago. 5 years ago, I got like, we were at a 1 week ryokan practice thing and had umeboshi with every lunch or so. And at some point I couldn't eat it anymore. I got like too sick or something. I was like, also wasn't feeling so well, but I didn't eat it. Now I definitely would. Especially, I mean, there's umeboshi sometimes when it's still a little bit hard or so, but when it's soft outside already, red, and then it's like you can suck it off essentially around the what do you call that, nucleus, the thing in the middle. Japanese is tane. I don't know. I forgot the English. Can you believe it? Yeah. So that's I like umeboshi. I still don't like natto a lot. So if you know what that is, fermented soybeans. Acquired taste, people say. Sometimes I really feel like eating it, and then I eat and it's usually like small packets, and then I eat like a mouthful and that's it. Then I give it to my wife or my kids. Have you ever been to Misato Ume Grove in Gunma? No, I haven't. Over 100,000 plum trees. It's amazing and fresh umeboshi. Wow, that sounds great. Especially when they bloom. The seed, that's what I wanted to say. Excellent, Andre. Thank you. How are you with tamago gohan? Apparently it's a treat, but I can see why. also can see why. It's like, I don't even know how it looks. At least no image in my head comes up. Let me search that quickly. If it's like the usual egg, you know, pie thingy, then there's sugar inside. Maybe that's why. Tamago kake gohan. Yeah, my wife likes that also. Then maybe gohan, so rice, natto, and egg, right? And maybe some pickles, right? Tsukemono. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, probably I wouldn't eat that. It's too, you know, soft, I guess, for me. Yeah, a raw egg is mixed into warm rice and eaten. No, I don't eat that. But I also don't like omurice or so. Doesn't sound too nice. Just becomes slimy mushy, exactly. Slimy mush. Yeah, and then if you have natto added to that, it's like a perfect combination. I mean, the natto fits in really nice, but again, it's like, ugh. And I feel like, especially then, how would you eat that? I mean, you eat that with chopsticks, right? But it's like, because it's so slimy, it's really not great. And then you eat like this, really close to your mouth. No. Maybe I'm too old for that. Old too young. Like my teeth are still working. I don't need that. Those plum tree flowers smell like bananas. Ooh, it is higher elevation with view into the valley. Highly recommended. Okay, sounds nice. Maybe one day. Gunma is not far. Neighboring prefecture. Let me search that. Oh, so many. And you see, for something like this, if I were to go there, when it's blossoming, then of course we need a drone, right? Because when I'm among the trees, you see like maybe 50 when we are lucky in front of me. You can kind of guess their trees. But when you see it from above, then you see like, wow, it's like endless trees. And they're all blossoming. That's my plan at least. In Japan, is Western culture idolized as much as Japanese culture may be idolized in the West? It is, I think, to some extent, and some things. I mean, they're like biases, the classic, like Germans like beer, or one thing probably that often many foreigners hear is you have a small face, or you have a not long necessarily, yes, also long nose, but this area here, from where your nose starts to your eye, it's like so deep and so on, and I have no idea what's the point. What do you want to tell me, and how do you measure a small face? I don't care. So something like this happens, which is like this, right, where they're like, what does not happen, at least I think it doesn't, is this kind of I like Japan, so I need to protect the Japanese culture, and this is cultural appropriation and so on. I don't think that happens, but again, I'm also not a Japanese trying to be like a Westerner. I'm not a Japanese equivalent of a weeaboo. I don't know. So I guess to some extent there is something like that, where at least Westerners think like what's going on, but maybe not at the same extreme. I think Japan is special in many ways. Okay, Ninja Monkey has to record the next video. Nice. Looking forward to hear the news about when you can come to this country. Have a great shoot. Take care. Oh, only 8 people. Many people left maybe when we talked about video stuff. Everyone just needs to stop pretending to be offended on behalf of someone else. Yeah, I mean, I mean, if you ask Japanese people, as you know, probably, they say, it's so nice. It's so nice that you wear a kimono. We appreciate that you like our culture. Or they even sometimes, what you sometimes hear is, oh, you're more Japanese than Japanese. This is a similar comment to like, Nihongo jozu, your Japanese is good. Which is something, I don't know, that's maybe also a Western thing that they like overdo this phrase, because I just feel it's like, when you say to a kid it's doing something well, doesn't mean it does it as well as an adult. It does it well for where it's at. And the same way they say your Japanese is good for where you are at, for you're not having, not growing up in Japan and having been here maybe for 10 months. It's really good, right? That's it, I think. All right. It's a big cultural problem in the West, I think. Yeah, I also feel like sometimes like maybe people overdo a little bit with certain like cultural correctness things and so on. I think kimonos are beautiful and I'd love to have one, but I feel that people will get defensive or over cultural appropriation. Yeah, right. I remember in Munich there was like a Japan Fest, so Japan festive thing. There's a tea house in Munich, and around that there was a fest, and then there were some foreigners that were like a yukata and so on, and many people doing cosplay. You could say that's appropriation, I guess. And like everybody presenting what they do when it's related to Japan, like sword fighting or other martial arts, Shorinji Kempo, Aikido, maybe not Judo, but Iaido, also Ikebana and things like that, Go. And at least there nobody said that, nobody cared so much, but maybe it's not that extreme in Germany, at least not that. Certainly about political correctness, but not so much about appropriation. I don't even know, maybe Aneignung or so. I don't know what would be the correct translation. Anyway, what is your prognostic of today's Germany versus Portugal? Oh yeah, they play tomorrow morning at 1 a.m. in Japan. So a friend of mine, I talked with friends just before, they said 3-0 Germany. I think Portugal will win, actually. I think Germany will have a European Cup just like in 2004, where they leave in the first round. Yeah. That's how positive I am right now to the team. Yeah, maybe they can do it. If they win today, they have really good chances, but I don't think so. That being said, since I moved to Japan, it's been really hard to keep up with that. The last European Cup was just when I moved, 2016. So I moved during the Cup. And yeah, since then, World Cup, terrible, of course, for Germany, the last one. So for those of you who are not into soccer, please forgive me. So back then, Germany, first round, the world champion, right? Defending world champion. In the group phase, first round essentially out. Too bad. But well, that's how it was, and I guess this time it will be similar. Let me have another umeboshi. Oh, that's more sour. Look at the bright side. You will be able to see the Olympics when the rest of the world is sleeping during competitions. That's true. That being said, probably I won't watch it, but maybe check some statistics, like which place in the total. Where's Germany? Where's Japan? At least the players aren't literally needing to be revived on the field. Yeah, at least so far. I mean, hopefully every now and then this happens, right? Like with Ericsson. Is his name, I think. That somebody collapses, had a heart issue, it wasn't discovered, and then collapsed. Thankfully, the last times I saw this, always the player was dead. And this time, thankfully, he was. They had a defibrillator. Call it? Is that what you call it? And yeah, he's still alive. That's great. Poor guy. I was about to ask if it's difficult to keep up with European-based sports in Japan. Yeah. I mean, time zone-wise, yes, it is. Then for when it comes to Bundesliga soccer, I usually only check like on German news pages. Where's Bayern Munich? Ah, they win again. First again, okay, good. That's it. I don't watch soccer almost at all anymore, because here in Japan, when I watch, for example, on the German news page, then always hit me, it's like, this is not available in your country. And I don't want to pay for VPN, so that's that. Symbol of Death is here. Nice to have you here. I think first time in the stream, right? You watched some of my videos, really appreciate it. Let me know which one you like best and what you would like to see more of. Aminox says, isn't traditional kimono for men named monotsuki? I don't know, is it called monotsuki? I don't know. When I search it, I see like anime. I don't know. I mean, I have a hakama and so on. That's the skirt trouser thing. So I can bring it. Wait a second. I'll be back in 2 seconds. And Kevin, good to have you here. So this is a hakama. It's like this is for Aikido, so that's not like a ceremonial one. There you probably would have like not what's that? Indigo. But yeah, so generally like this, and it has like the wrinkles. Could you call it wrinkles? No, maybe not like this here. 7, and yeah, I think it looks nice. It's like an feudalistic baggy pants. But I don't actually know what the whole thing is called. Like, isn't it also kimono? Is it monotsuki? Maybe. Okay, Kevin here again. Still, alright. Symbol of Death says videos are good. Thank you. If you think that, please share them. Because that's like recently it has not been so great when it comes to views and so on. So that's really the way for me to reach a bigger audience without investing into advertisement and so on. Defibrillator. Okay. I guess I was close enough so you understood what I mean. Are we talking about coronavirus today? No, not anymore, I guess, or not so much at all today. Not yet. No. Who wants to talk about coronavirus? No. IT job and software engineer. Yeah. Yeah, this video did well, I think. Still gets maybe 200-300 views a day. And yeah, I could go into this direction, software engineer in Japan. But to be honest, I don't know what I should talk about, because this is essentially everything. I can't talk about my work for obvious reasons, like, you know, I can't hold in the camera what is not yet released. And I don't share whom I'm working for, so that's another thing. And then, what else? I mean, I can go into this direction of totally doing software engineering and this and that topics, but that's not what this channel is about. It's about Japan. And so, I don't know how I would do that. Even though if it might get views. Okay, Australian version, defibrillator. What's the difference? Defibrillator and roulette. Oh, those two. And IT job also. I mean, how to get an IT job in Japan. It's all set, I think. This was a good video for me to make because I'm so into the topic that I don't have to make a lot of take a lot of notes. It doesn't take me long to talk about that. And I can talk about it rather freely. So usually when I have notes, I need to remember them. and I don't learn in advance, so I do it on the spot. So that means I just need a lot of takes for every single sentence or so, or every other sentence. But when I can do it from the top of my head, like this topic, then it's easy. And thankfully, this was also helpful for at least a couple of people. At least one, I think in the last live stream, somebody said after this video, so they got a job. So that was really good to hear. Okay, Monotsuki kimono is what men wear when they get married, I think. Oh, Monotsuki kimono. Yeah, I see that. All right. I can't even say defibrillator. Yeah, me neither. Bro, which programming language used so much in Japan? And you shared the video. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You're not the first person to ask it, but it's also not the first time for me to answer. I don't know. I think it depends on what you want to do. So if you want to be front-end heavy, then probably JavaScript is the way to go. Of course, you should know HTML and CSS or something, which are not programming languages. Maybe you could argue JavaScript is also a script language, but and then if you do Android, Kotlin. If you do iPhone, Swift. If you do backend, maybe most likely JavaScript, maybe Go, maybe Kotlin or Java. Java still pretty heavy. A couple of years ago, Ruby on Rails was pretty popular here, way more popular than elsewhere. I don't know if that's still the case. Not in my company, but maybe. So it's hard to say. I would say decide on what you like more than what you can do here. If you really want to do here, then at least decide your direction, like full stack or backend, front end, what kind of front end, and then see, maybe do a job search here, see what they want, go into that direction. Yeah. Different games. Check that vaccinations are accelerating in Japan. Yeah, really, like it's really going up. It's like more than 12% maybe first shot or more, and 6% second or so. So not bad. I didn't get anything yet. Thanks, Symbol of Death. Kevin says, repeating a line 50 times is the story of my life on YouTube. Right. I mean, terrible. Making YouTube videos. Even when I don't, if I'm outside somewhere and I make it up as I go, right, like I'm doing now, I don't deliver it perfectly, or so I do it again and again and again. And even if I deliver it perfectly, I need another take to choose from. Sometimes I'm using a plural if I want to use a singular or the other way or so, and I don't realize it. So at least 2 takes, 2 perfect takes. Next, interview tips. But that's all in the how to get an IT job video, I think. There's not much more I can say. And also, I mean, the interviews I'm most in are my interviews. That means I'm the interviewer, not the interviewee. And my questions, of course, are all similar, kind of. So I don't know if that is representative. So I'm not sure if it would be, outside of what I shared in the video, if that would be helpful. And how to get visa. Yeah, that's a good one. So we already talked about this, like the one really important step, the one only step you need to take to get a visa in Japan, even without job, in previous streams. So you have to watch that now. Similar of that said, if I don't have a programming degree, but I have English degree, can I get a job in Japan? Yeah, sure. I mean, job generally, yes. English, especially if you're native English, that's like excellent, right? You can at least become an English teacher. And can you get an IT job here? Also, that's okay. Especially if you start, like you just graduated, then you're like a new going into a company. They don't mind that. They can fix that, right? They teach you. Why would they expect you to know something if you just left college? Doesn't make sense, right? So in that way, they are way more realistic, I guess, than some Western countries, not countries, companies. But still, it's maybe for somebody who doesn't. I don't. Depends on your Japanese level if you can get this kind of job in a Japanese company or not. But then also, if you have a background in IT and an English in another country and you get hired as a mid-career, that's also fine, as long as you know something. Then I think, at least for me, at least. What is the best answer to why do you want to come to Japan? That's your reason, of course. I mean, the assessment of why I would like to ask this question is, I want to find out if you will leave Japan, right? Especially if you have never been here, and knowing how it feels to come here and how it's different from what you expected. I need to know if your reason is strong enough, or if you will leave us after a year, because a year is a big investment and the return is still rather low. But I would be honest, because it's also good to get honest feedback on that. You know, also you want to. So it's a two-way thing, right? It's not like it shouldn't be like you desperately want a job. It should be like you want to fit. You want to find the perfect fit, ideally. So you also want to see, can they give you feedback and so on in the interview, and find out if that's a company worth working for. You know, now it gets a little bit, I wouldn't say. Anyway, so your time is a resource you can't get back, and you only have so much, and you give this to a company, so it should better be a good company. That's what I think. This also means ideally you should have more than one offer. Again, because you need choice options to not be desperate or so. Have to take one just to get here. You know how Japan has closed its borders to foreigners? Any news as to when they'll open up again? No idea. So Ninja Monkey was here before. He has his content recently is mostly about that, like the news around travel to Japan. Probably he knows much better, and he's just making the next video. I think in his last video he said there has been news that they have like announced their tourist numbers by their goals for 2025 or something like that. And it's still pretty ambitious. And I think they said something like they plan to have tourists again maybe early next year. Something like that, maybe. Oh! Donation. This time I got it. Aminox donated $13.34. You think we can see the message? No, I'm just trying to get you past the 1/3 benchmark. Thank you so much. And we are now 1 cent. No, it's like 0.67 cent over the 1/3 of a drawn benchmark. So thank you so much, Aminox. Really helpful. Nice. I mean, in reality, we also got a couple of super chats which are not accounted for in this one. So it's actually more already. Probably, where are we? Like 370-ish. I'm joining the college this year. 18. Oh, you're 18. Nice. When my college ends, then I'm going to Japan as fast as possible. Oh, okay. I mean, take your time. That's fine. It's also fine. Or coming here while you're in college, if you have like I don't know how it's in your country. In Germany, for me, we had like two months of, was it summer break or so? So there was, and even I went to Japan when I was studying in 5th semester bachelor. And I just went. It's like two weeks, no lectures. That's fine. I can handle that. And the teachers could also handle that. I told them, I have to go to Japan. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, why I'm saying that is I think it's good to if you have never been here, to get like as close of an experience of living here as you can. Ideally, a little homestay or something, because of course, living somewhere is always different than being a tourist somewhere. Do you have to adjust it manually? Yeah, probably. But I didn't, and now I forgot how much it was. Next year, oh my god, next year I'm gonna cry, says Kevin. I don't know if that's a positive cry or not. Personally, my goal is to go to Germany this year, in December probably, for Christmas. for 4 weeks or so. That's my goal. Let's see how it works. Symbol of Death is coming for money. Going for money. Yeah, anyway, I mean, but if it's for money, then maybe US would be better or so. I don't know how easy it is though to get a visa there. From which area of Germany are you? I'm from the south, from Bavaria. Close to Munich. Also lived in Munich until I left. Also the umeboshi are all gone, so that's that. Samuel Amek says, to the Symbol of Death, your goal should be to educate yourself for a lifetime of enjoyable work, not an excuse to move somewhere and possibly have to do work you hate. I'm agreeing with that. Still, I don't know the situation Symbol of Death is in. So, you know, yeah, I can comment really, obviously. And Symbol of Death also disagrees. Ishu Mishra says, I have my interview on the 24th of June for my undergrad scholarship for engineering by a Japanese embassy, and I have no idea what to expect. I also have no idea what to expect from a Japanese embassy. So the interview is with the Japanese embassy, and they would give you the scholarship, right? Do I understand it correctly? Okay, Symbol of Death says his country sucks. You don't know? You know? You don't know. Probably not, yeah. But again, I mean, I said it before, certainly there's countries where it's very easy to live, and I think Japan is one of them. But of course, every country is a country and has positives and negatives. I'm sure Symbol of Death country has positives, and you may not be able to see them now. Maybe when you move here, after some time, you realize that. Maybe not. I mean, who knows? But Japan is also not just positive. It's a cry of sadness. Oh no, I was supposed to come over last April. I know, I remember. You want to do something with Andy. Over a year delay is excruciating. It could, yeah. Still, at least you're healthy, right? And it will be almost 2 years. Probably it would make sense to then come in April also next year. And then maybe make it twice as long. Isha Mishra says yes. Okay, in the embassy. Yeah, I have no idea what an embassy would ask. Can you Google that maybe? I guess you're not the first person to get the scholarship, maybe, most likely. Or maybe you can ask somebody who received it before, find somebody on LinkedIn or so. And Symbol of Death says my country have all negatives. And you got it right, it's called Mixed Scholarship. I heard it before. Mixed. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea. Since I didn't receive it, I don't know how to get it. So, but I'm sure you can find something online, or at least somebody who got it. "24th of June, that's in 5 days. So next week, should you also make it to the live stream, you can tell us how it went. Looking forward to it. You have small positive and big. So my country have big problems. Isha Mishra Chasiwada says, one important skill in life is to be able to Google and do research. Yeah. Also for an interview, look at Glassdoor, some similar sites, what they ask and how they are, etc. Yeah, I'm not sure if they do that for scholarships on Glassdoor. Probably not, right? Because not a job. I was thinking about applying for scholarship also. It was not Mixed. It was something rather exclusive, Germany only. But I think right after that they stopped it or so because they didn't have enough applicants. Can you believe that? It was pretty generous also. Like they essentially sponsored you to come here and really get your Japanese level up. What else could you wish for? And then like push you into whatever field you're in or whatever field they want you to be in. Maybe even give you contacts and so on. Maybe even some interviews. So okay, and they will never came to me with the problems. My sick of this country. Okay, so I see. I mean, let's see how you feel about it after you're done with college. There's still some time left. Kevin says Andy and him wanted to do a collab, but I hope next time we can, the three of us, get together and grab a bite or something. Yeah, certainly. Especially if you come here. I mean, Nagano. Perfect. Yeah, grab a bite with somebody. That hasn't happened in some time. When will you do a video about the traditions, history, and gear of for Kendo? Probably never. Kendo. I mean, maybe. I mean, I have a friend who does Kendo. I don't know, he's great. Maybe 5th, 6th dan or something like that, I guess, from his age. So I could do an interview with him. That would be interesting. Don't know if it would be Kendo. Do you do Kendo, Aminox? Don't know if it would be interesting. I started making a video about Japanese martial arts, but that is too extensive. Because you can have all the classical and modern martial arts, right? And then if you Kobudo, the old martial arts, and the different had so much, and then it's so easy to get something terribly wrong. Then I stopped. Sorry. I think I stay for 1 month, probably, or 3 weeks at last. Yes. But then you always stay around, Kansai, right? Osaka and Kyoto and so on. And it's expensive to go there from here. It costs like $150, so one way. Symbol of Death says, I just want to live a good life for me and my brother and my mother and my father. Yeah, that's a good thing. Symbol of Life, since you talked about your country a lot, do you want to share where you're from? You don't have to. Did I say Symbol of Life? Symbol of Death. Symbol of Death. Kevin doesn't even remember how restaurants work. Yeah, you have like an iPad, right? And then you pick what you order, and then it comes on a conveyor belt. That's how. India, country government kills a lot of people. No. There are a couple of Indian people, every now and then Indian people join the stream. Very nice. Ishu Mishra says, can I get a job in IT in Japan with an associate's degree from a Japanese college of technology? No. I mean, the thing is not about the job, the thing is about the visa. And associate's degree does not count. You need a university degree. That's all I can say. I mean, I say this as if it was black and white, but it's not. It's something you can have. Apparently, it's possible to come here with an associate's degree and a certain amount of experience, which doesn't necessarily need to be this 10 years that you often hear. At least I read about at least a couple of cases. And sometimes they also accept that. So if you find a really strong, well-known company, Sony or something, I don't know, then it may work. I have no idea. But usually they say university degree. That's why I say no. But obviously I don't work for immigration. You remember my traveling plans so well. Yeah, I don't know. I just know you're always there. And I remember asking you in your Q&A, and you replied no. You plan to be there again. So I actually watched that, even though I didn't comment. Sorry. Yeah, Japan. I mean, now I go to all these places where I start shooting more videos outside. If maybe you know that most of my videos were essentially in a room or so, at least half. And I go to all these places and I see them now where there's no people, no tourists, like tourist destination, no tourists. That's pretty nice, kind of. But then again, maybe next year it's totally different. The town again, I went to Narai, the town, this town, they said 50% of the tourists are foreigners. Who used to be foreigners. And now because we have the state of emergency, almost nobody's coming. So the other people apparently were from state of emergency areas, Tokyo and surroundings, Osaka and surroundings. Nobody coming. So now I think when I was there, they said like 5% or so. I was there, the first time I was there was on a Saturday, and some people were there ruining my shots, making it look empty. But still, I mean, not a lot of people. And then the second time I came on a Friday, and most people didn't even bother opening their stores. It was hard to get food. Symbol of Death says, where I live, the people think Corona is just a flu. I told them this is a serious thing now. Now they are dying. That's funny, but I told them. Not funny. That's not funny, but I told them. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now it's getting down again, right? But in India, what was that? What wave was that? Third wave or so, or second wave? The last big wave, then the one is coming down right now, was terrible, really terrible. Chill, dude, says Aminox. Yeah, I have some colleagues. Oh, this was the wrong side. I have some colleagues from India, and I also know people who went to India for vacation and couldn't come back now because there are no flights anymore. People from India can't come to Japan, even if they live here. That's unfortunate. I talked to my wife about India also. And how many cases? What was it? Like 300,000 a day or so, right? How it was, and he was like, oh my god, and how many people does India have? Maybe about, and she thought like, maybe like Japan, 120 million or something. Like, no, it's like 10 times as much. Oh, so many. Well, then if you put that into perspective, then it looks different from a percentage, right? Kevin says, I reckon tourists will be coming in huge waves when Japan opens again. I don't know. Depends, I guess, on how strict it will be. I don't know if they will do like everybody come here. I guess they will still have like some blacklisted countries. They will have maybe some, artificial bottleneck at the airport or something. I don't know. But I already imagined being terrible immigrating to Germany. Japan is always no problem. But to Germany, EU citizens, no issue. But my wife is not. So I and the kids, we wait with her. And since we don't leave the plane first, last time it took like 2 hours or so, I think. With like jet lag kids. Oh, terrible, terrible. I mean, one kid, back then it was one kid, before Corona. I'm not looking forward to that. And then in addition, get Corona tested. Oh my God. Oh, Daniel Panic is here. Hey, how's it going? How is Seattle? So for those who don't know, that's kind of a running gag now. I made a mistake before saying Daniel lives in Seattle. He lives in Chicago. For everybody. Daniel from Chicago. Chicago. Good to have you here, Daniel. Today was a little earlier. I started at 8 because I want to do some editing after this. Aminox says, no one will be traveling to Japan until after the Olympics and elections. Yeah. It's me, I'm tourist, says at Kevin Abroad, says Sorin Topela. Yeah, Daniel, we've been talking about you. Where have you been? How is it going with the apartment? So for some people that always are in the chat, like Aminox or Daniel, I kind of now know what they're roughly doing. Maybe not for Aminox. I mean, for Aminox, I know where he lives and kind of what he. Yeah, no, I know where you live and what you work. I guess that's fine. Yeah. So, and for Kevin, I know because we are YouTube friends. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much. Let's see if we get a notification here. Why not? Why not? Last time it worked. Anyway, how's that drone goal doing? Not bad, as you see. So Aminox was very generous today. Donated, how much was that? $33.34. So great. Oh, there we are. You see, Super Chat works just fine, but the other one doesn't. One day I will fix it. One day. What is the cost of second-hand cycle in Japan for newcomers? I'm not sure. I imagine it. I'm not sure. I mean, there are big, really big, and second-hand stores. There's one really close to here, where whenever we want to get rid of something, we bring it there, get like 1,000 yen, better than nothing. And they also have bikes, I think, sometimes. But even my bike costs new $180 or so. I mean, one gear, but it's fine. Nagano is flat. So I then imagine if you would get this secondhand, half maybe, $90. But I don't know. Maybe mine would be less, maybe $30. Daniel says, yeah, just waiting for paperwork on stuff. No real issue. Nice. Wow, Sorin Topola. All about the donation train. Yeah, thank you. Can you let me know how much that is in yen or in dollars or euros? Because I don't know. I don't even know. Sorin, maybe a Romanian name? But I have no idea how that translates. About 10 euros. Nice. Very. Thank you. Thank you very much. Aminox says, America, gangsters, Chicago, bang, bang. What movie? The one with Capone. the one with Kevin Costner and Capone. Right? Wasn't it? Nani. Sabuls. Unfortunately, Johannes gets paid much lower percentage of donations from Super Chat. Yeah, that's true. But animations work, yeah. So it's like a trade-off, but sometimes you have to bite into the sour apple. Kevin also clapped, yay. Untouchables, yes. Untouchables, that's the one I want to say. Sorin is in fact a Romanian name. There you go. Surin, maybe Surin. Surin is how I would pronounce it as German. I don't know if that's close to correct or not. What is your favorite anime movie? Oh, that's a difficult one. The last one I've seen in cinema, and I think was Kimi no Na wa, which I liked. But my most favorite one probably is Sento Chihiro no Kamikakushi. What's that in English? Chihiro's, I don't know, Chihiro, from Studio Ghibli, and one because of course from craftsman level it's impeccable, and two because this level of imagination at this age when Miyazaki-san made that in 2000 or so is amazing. I think. I thought when I saw it first, and I still think so. Still, the one I see the most is Totoro. Because I can watch it with my kids. And then at least they see something in German. If we watch in German. It's a little bit hard to hear the Japanese names and so on butchered in German, but that's how it is. My wife always thinks it's funny. Me too. Spirited Away, that's the word. That's the name. Was it a train passing by? No. Probably a car. I didn't even realize. So they're pretty narrow roads here, so, and then they're not in the best condition. Maybe that's why it's loud. So yeah, probably that's like Spirited Away, I guess, and Totoro would be the ones. But also I don't watch a lot. My wife likes Conan. I think she watches every Conan movie. She bought the Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer DVD, and watched it yesterday, I think. I didn't. I don't know if it's good. I guess she loves it, so probably. But yet I still have to see that. Have yet to see that. Oh, Symbol of Death is back. You were gone? I didn't realize. Oh no, welcome back. It's a quote from Soviet border guards in the movie Stripes with Bill Murray from 1981. We should have known that. Back then I was -6. I've never seen any of the Ghibli movies. My coworker has been watching them with his kids and absolutely loves them. Yeah, they're great. I mean, that being said, we still have some of the DVDs in the original packaging, like Princess Mononoke, and some, maybe one more. Because kids too young for brutal stuff. And I think the one with the cats I didn't watch. And also not the From His Son, Goro Miyazaki. I didn't watch the first one, and I like the second one actually. Was it on the Puppy Hill or whatever? Movie names, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not too good with names in general, not just for people, but also for movies. Harsh Car is here. Hi. I love the Ghibli movies, says Nitrogen Monoxide. Yeah, me too. I mean, before Ghibli, actually. So before my wife, I thought anime. Like, is there any lower quality in movie making? And then I watched the 2013 Ghibli movie. It was the first one, and was so good. Like, from a quality again, I was like, wow, that's possible in anime. Never expected that. Because all I had seen was like One Piece, Captain Tsubasa, Sailor Moon, or all these old school Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball, all these old school anime that are TV shows and made for length. So depending on the kid's age, not all of the Ghibli movies are appropriate. Mononoke, I would say, is not okay for children under 12-ish. That's also my feeling. I haven't seen it, like I said, but I also wouldn't show it to my kids. And also Spirited Away, like my older one is 4. I probably wouldn't show yet. Daniel loves Detective Conan. Watch the live action with Oguru Sun. Oh, I didn't know there was one. Maybe. I also don't know if my wife watched. Symbol of Death says, my English is so fluent, thank you. He's learning and watched One Piece and Naruto and many. I never watched, I think not even one episode of Naruto. A friend of mine has, I think, all the comics, all the manga. Daniel says, it's been so long since I've seen Stripes. I vaguely remember a mud wrestling scene and them taking a tank for a cruise. Taking a tank for a cruise. For cruise. Okay. Oh. Because of One Piece, my 10th grade down 20% and results 60%. I can kind of, do you mean your 10th grade grades down? And coming back to English, so yeah, I mean, I'm probably fluent in most topics or most areas of English, but I mean, some areas I'm astonishingly lacking. Like until I used to move to Japan, I didn't know that the guy in the train is the conductor. But here they say it on the train, the conductor's room is in car 12. And I'm like, what's that? What's a conductor? It sounds like technical for me, like you know, something you connect something to. So there's some lacks in my vocabulary that just because I never have been in these areas, like on a playground or so. I didn't know it's a jungle gym or so until I had kids. Then I just don't know. But yeah, obviously you can identify me as a foreigner because my accent is not good. I mean, not on a native level. That being said, I also never invested into that. So I've never been taught anything like that. I don't know how the English stress accent is correct and so on. I never put effort into that. I guess I could improve it, but I'm not willing to. So that's that. Have you seen this one only yesterday? Omohide Poroporo. Omohide? Omoide Poroporo maybe? It's a masterpiece. No, I haven't. Omohi. Ah, he as in they. Let me see. Because we buy the DVDs in Germany because they cost like a quarter of what they cost here. So I don't know. Usually don't know the Japanese names, but I think I haven't seen this one. And we don't own it, so I probably haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen this one. As a native English speaker, I can attest that Johannes' skill is very good. The only thing is he has a noticeable accent, which is obviously French. Yes, clearly. And I worked really hard on that, so you wouldn't know how good my English... I mean, if I spoke to you outside of this video, then you probably couldn't even identify that I'm German. Because, you know, I worked really hard to have this on-screen persona that has a German accent. And I'm really surprised that you can hear with your skilled native ear that I'm actually French. Where did you do your undergraduation from? I don't know what undergraduation is. So let me Google it. Is undergraduation bachelor's degree or is undergraduation high school degree? I don't know. I recently got into Japanese movies by directors like Yasujiro Ozu and Shohei Imamura. They did really amazing genre, format, and tradition breaking works. Oh, sounds nice. Sorin Topala says, the way to tell if someone is French is to ask them to say customer. French people have a distinct pronunciation. Customer, maybe? Customer. Yeah. Anything with an H in German, like Hilfe. Usually French people, if they're not on a rather intermediate or high level, they say Hilfe because so the H is silent. That's how you know then. But you know it anyway. I mean, no special new words needed probably. The other, but Kevin, who was on the stream here before, first when I heard his English, I couldn't tell, and then because I became more aware about my English as well, I also now I can 100% place him. I mean, that being said, I know where he's from. Oh, Hashkar said, I'm going to Germany for undergraduation next year. Oh, nice, nice. Enjoy. Facebook is going down because the iPhone launching new social media apps for iOS and Android. No. I don't use Facebook a lot, only to pay to sometimes when I remember I post to the Japanese journey page when there's a new video, but almost never. And yeah, that's almost it. But sometimes, maybe even once a week or so, I check to see like if there are updates, like the notification marks. Takes a minute, that's it. The test for German English level is how they pronounce the word squirrel. Yeah, I know. The r is hard, and especially when it's close to q, I guess, squirrel. Yeah, the R is really hard, I think, not only for Germans, but yeah. I also can't do that well. The only reason we know he's German is that he is always holding a beer and schnitzel. Yeah, this right here. You see this? This is a liter beer mug. So, you know, this is the obvious proof I have to put into my background, just so that you know. Beer. Never used this for beer, at least. I should clean it one day, at least before using it for beer. You got it exactly tight, French, right? Probably French people say it like customier. Simov doesn't use Facebook, just Insta and YouTube. It's a beer mug, yeah. So that's what we use in Bavaria. If like somebody not from Bavaria, like from Berlin or so, comes and they say a large beer, please, then the waiter will be like, okay, do you want a half or do you want a mass, which is this one? And then they're, oh yeah, it's Bavaria, half. Because we don't have a small, like I don't know what that we have half. Usually we have a pint or this. I think that's the sizes, and something like in this magnitude or so is unthinkable. Why would you even bother? Okay, say curl and replace the C with screw. Curl, squirrel, squirrel is how you do it. I would say squirrel. Maybe also depends. Too big, some of that. The squirrel was actually used to test for spies during the Adolf Hitler worldwide goodwill tour from 1939 to 1945. Didn't know. How does the beer taste? Oh, depends where you are and which of the makers you choose. From good on like the first, when it's cold and fresh, to pretty good from start to finish. Oh, is it test or is it taste? I don't know. Do you ever see yourself living in Japanese countryside in the coming future? Like real countryside, you mean? Not more than here? No. Personally, I would do that, but I think it's probably also pretty inconvenient, you know, no supermarkets and so on. Have to go far. Maybe no good internet. Probably good internet. Good enough internet. But no. There is a bit by a British stand-up comedian about how the word wait, I have to squirrel, yeah, squirrel. I have to listen to a recording later, then I know. Is impossible to pronounce in French, German, and English if you are not native. In German it's easy, right? Eichhörnchen. Now please go ahead. I'm thinking about how my wife says that. Eichhörnchen. Yeah, probably for Japanese not so easy. But for English, it's also not easy now. Is sweet or salty or tea or coffee? Beer? Bitter? If it's a ale and it was how do you call it? A lager? I guess. Yeah, I'm not a great beer drinker actually. Though I'm starting to appreciate German beer more now that I'm in Japan and find it here sometimes, and then it's like, oh, that's not bad. Wow. Never expected that. What's the WW2 renaming joke for Uncomfortable Too Far? What? World War II. I don't know. What? Maybe I don't get it. Renaming joke. Renaming joke. I don't know. Sorry, I don't understand it. How is the startup culture in Japan? Yeah, not so good, I think. Yeah. I think there are like 3 or 2 unicorns in the last 3-4 years. So compared to US, so nothing. And many of the startups have a hard time hiring, I think, because startup is seen as like a big risk. So I think it's not so great. Maybe that's why they try to hire more foreigners or so. Kevin can pronounce squirrel. I have to look up for I have to search for Daniel's explanation every time. Squirrel. Squirrel is what we would put more on the I with German. Ma. Anyway, squirrel. Squirrel. Let me now listen to an English recording. Wait a second. Squirrel. I still remember learning this. This was actually when I was in England. Squirrel. There you go. British English, squirrel. Much closer to how I said it, I think, initially. So I'm totally fine with how I said it, and I won't change my ways. Was there... What? Was the WW2 remaining joke uncomfortable to far? Okay, now I get it. No, I'm fine. But Kevin's French friends would find it hard to say. Square. I don't know. That's how I try to read Symbol of Deaths now. Would you ever do videos in German? I did one video in German. Let me search that. Wait. One second. I didn't find it. Soon. One second. I will post it here. Right. So this is an interview in German. A German YouTube channel did with me. German-speaking, Japan-based YouTube channel. I thought about that. So last stream I talked about my on and off idea of making a German channel. So it's possible that this will actually happen with me doing that. But yeah, if you want to sound how my German accent sounds in real German, then you can. How bad it's gotten, then you can check that. I'm not sure. I think my German is close to standard, but not really. So I have German colleagues which are from different areas, and sometimes I ask them, do you understand what that means? Oh, you don't. Things like that. Yeah. Welcome to English class with Johannes. Yes, welcome. Finally. What are the things that you like about Japanese people? That's a good one. About Japanese people. I think I like I like saying sorry rather than blaming, you know? In Germany, the default reaction usually is blaming, and here it is saying sorry. So I feel like people keep more in their space and not, step into the other people's space. That's very, very comfortable, I think. and something I value a lot here. Squirrel. Which keyboard are you using? I'm using a Happy Hacking Keyboard Lite. Maybe 2 or so, I don't know. Just have it written somewhere. Oops. Does it have it written somewhere? I don't know. It's a mechanical keyboard without numbered pad, and that's very, can you see that now? Without number pad, which is very important to me, because so I have the mouse at least sometimes on the right, not always, because ergonomic mouse for the right hand. But when it wasn't, then I used to switch every now and then. But because I have the mouse on the right and I want a balanced position, I can't have a keypad, a number pad, because then the whole thing moves to the side, or the mouse moves too much to the right. So that's a no-go. It's a mechanical keyboard, that's why you hear it so well. Alright. It's hard to show pronunciation with normal letters. Yeah, true. You can try it in katakana. I broke the chat with the squirrel test. Just as bad as asking Johannes to tech YouTube questions, apparently. Yes, but maybe more people are interested, or at least entertained by my struggle. Is German really hard to learn? I can obviously not answer that. I think it's just as hard to learn for anybody as any language, from where I started, which is as a infant, right? So I guess from that position, everything is same, just as hard. Though I must say, I feel like Japanese makes it easier because there's so limited sounds that things like, can you say, like Germany, Augen, eyes, right? And then Japanese is me, or they say meme or something. Or you sleep is neru, and then they say nene, German schlafen, right? And things like that. So how simple things can be, or how easy they are to reproduce for a baby, I feel that, at least in that department, Japan has it easier. Japanese has it easier. You should do a live stream where you watch some of your vids and share with us same stories and anecdotes. Some stories. Yeah, I actually did a video reacting to my first video, but I never published it because it was not fun, not entertaining. I think I want to do that for Patreon, but then I like no. Yeah, actually, I mean, I could show you now a video, and then you could do that. A friend of mine, Dave Crippen, he does, usually when he does live streams, he does editing of his pictures. But I don't edit pictures, I can't do that, so that doesn't happen. But that's a good idea, yeah. Maybe one day we'll have a watch videos together stream. Actually, a friend of mine did that, Frame of Travel, and he even brought up a video we did together. So he went through a lot of videos he did in the past and where he collaborated, like with Tokyo Lens, or in the past with Yami Japan, which he worked for, and maybe also probably he also talked about the one he was in for Chris from Abroad in Japan, and so on. So that's very interesting, I think. I mean, maybe also what would be interesting for you more than the videos I make is the videos I appear in. It's not so many, but it's also not so little. Maybe 7, 8, like the one I shared, the German one. Who knows? What is the technology that is specific to Japan that can someday contribute to the welfare of human society? I have no idea. Specific to Japan. So a lot of Japan-specific technology used to exist, but now it's not so much anymore, I think. I mean, washlets obviously come to mind. So the toilet seats, but I don't know if that's what you want to hear. Yeah, so right now, I don't know if there's so much Japan, really Japan specific. I mean, I really like the cars here, the K cars. But welfare of human society, I don't think so. What I like here now is that you can't park on the streets. So if you have a street that's this wide, 2 meters wide, it will always be 2 meters, full stop. So I like that. Also makes it kind of neat. But it's really, I don't know. I can't answer. Why are the Japanese people so thin? I don't know. They also eat bad food, fast food certainly. But maybe they just don't eat as much, or they work too much or don't sleep in, or no sleep. It doesn't help that. I don't know. Maybe it's just you have a hard time if you're not thin. Maybe. Mechanical keyboards without a number pad is very important because Johannes hates numbers. No, I'm fine with numbers. And I can also remember numbers easily. But well, I don't know. I'm not an accountant. I don't type numbers all day. So, I don't know. Or especially programmers, where would you use numbers? Really rarely, I think. And thus it turned into a happy cracking keyboard. Yes. Have you heard Chris Broad do a Seattle accent? If so, can you try to mimic his imitation to the accent? Or was this his American for one day or so? No, I can't. No, I can't. Especially, I mean, probably I can hear an American accent. I guess if it's from California or Texas or something, maybe also yours, I don't know, but I can't imitate that. I think I just do or something like that. And if it was English, I would just skip the T, like wa and ma and things like that. Squirrel. It sounds like a cake, a roll of something. Wait, why is Japanese crime so weird? Can you elaborate? To test for the English speakers, German level is simply to pronounce Mercedes and Porsche correctly. Yeah. But I think Mercedes probably was French originally, I guess, Mercedes. But we say, of course, Mercedes and Porsche. That's hard, probably. Like if you read this, Porsche, right? But we skip the R and make it an A, Porsche. Or Adidas, I guess. Are Japanese people really like as they are portrayed in slice of life animes? I don't know. I don't know. I won't watch that. Probably not. I would guess. Probably not. Is Japan for living? Do you mean what it's like living here? I'm out of water. And umeboshi. Ah, tough life. Is Japan good for living? I think so. I think it's easy to live here. But also, since you work a lot, probably, it's also fast. Kevin doesn't know how else to write squirrel and katana. Squirrel. Yeah, I also don't know. Squirrel. Maybe ururu, maybe not roru. Also, this is terrible. Learning English like that or German or anything. When you look at Japanese, like I want a German book for my wife, and for learning German, and then it's written katakana. That's like how exactly you don't learn German. Like, you know, having this what I don't know, Japanese like 40, 50 sounds. Try to mimic German's 150 or so. No, that's not gonna learn. That's not gonna work. Like, you will sound very, very terrible, and most likely people won't even understand you. Don't even start like that. It's like learning Japanese in Western and Romaji. Don't even start it. Water in my language, gel. Water. Maybe water is a German accent then. Water. That's my best Seattle accent. There you go, Daniel. I'm asking yeah, Kevin is asking the real questions. Naruto or One Piece? One Piece. Never seen Naruto, that's why. No idea. I read One Piece for the first maybe 30 or so volumes because a friend had it. And I also watched it until Skypiea recently in Japanese. So, there you go. Any game dev job opportunities in Japan? Yeah. I mean, if you at least when I searched, maybe even when I get some job emails, sometimes there's something in there. These days I get other things, usually more management level things. But yeah, I think sometimes, certainly. Not so well paid, I feel. That was it. Perfect Seattle accent. There you go. There you go. Now you can order water on the Space Needle. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, let's meet up when I'm in Seattle once. Soka. Yeah. Yeah. So I think, my feeling is it's not paid as well. Because the gaming industry doesn't have as much money as the non-gaming industry. Generally. Because it's not so big and all that. And also from the job listings, that's what I see. But I don't know. Maybe I just didn't see the right ones. I know one guy who I worked with, he became, I think, a director, so it's Square Enix. Yeah, that's all I know. Another Saturday, another live stream from Candace Heath. Regards from Germany. Have a good one, everyone. Candace, good to have you here. How to write squirrel in katakana. Risu. Ha 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 ha. Very funny. For those who don't know, that's what it means in Japanese. How does the ramen taste? Huh? How does the ramen taste? Is it salty? Yeah, pretty salty. Depends on also what kind of broth. Like this one, rather heavy, thick ones and so on, and not so salty ones. But yeah, so, okay, salty, not super. I mean, depends also like who cooks it, of course. But generally, it's fine, I guess. But again, I don't know how for an Indian how it tastes. Games are huge in the US, and I think they get paid pretty badly in a lot of cases. I think so. I guess so, yeah. I mean, you always hear like, do you say inflation in that case? Yes. Inflation of salary inflation in like Silicon Valley and so on, right? But it's never games. It's always like Google and Apple and then maybe not in Seattle, but Amazon and so on. But games? I don't know. I mean, I made a game once. No, I made 3 games, which I also published. The first one was the most successful. And the other 2, the second one was a Flappy Bird clone, which did well until Google told me I have to remove the name Flappy, the word Flappy, from everything. And or bird, was that? Yeah, no, Flappy Bird. I think any reference to that must be removed, and it went down. And the third one was really like put a lot of time and effort in, and looked good, I think, for the time especially, and was a big flop. And then I went back into corporate stuff to get the money because need to eat. We like salty and hot food. Nice. Usually ramen is not hot, depending on the broth, so you can get hot. But you have like shijimi, that's like 7 tastes of, and usually it's kind of hot. Probably not Indian level hot, I feel, but yeah. Now, we must be thinking you're so weird. Yeah, no worries, man. We're all weird. So you're probably in good company here. Are you treated differently for being a foreigner? Yeah. Definitely. I mean, even if I was like really integrated and behaved very Japanese and spoke perfect Japanese, still, like, before I speak at least, I will be treated different, right? Because I obviously stand out here, because there's like 99.something% Japanese in this country. It's not exactly a melting pot. So I do stand out, and I am therefore treated differently. The expectation being I don't speak Japanese. Yes, exactly, right? You're also part of the crew. So there you go. Go to the inaka and people will stare at you all the time. Children would run away screaming. Yeah, screaming has never happened to me, but certainly like talking to the parents like, Papa, Papa, there's a foreigner. Or like, when was it, last weekend or so, we pulled, like another car was next to us and the kid just looking, looking, and then continued. Yeah, that happens, certainly. I mean, it's like, you know, if you're in the countryside and you've never seen somebody that does not look Japanese as a kid, right? Then of course, it's like, what? Wow, he looks so different. And especially if there's a notion that maybe this is not polite, is not there, then, oh. But also Japanese are, I think they've, at least something positive. Like if I go with my kids, like, oh, kawaii, or something, then I hear that a lot. So maybe that's also a more cultural thing, I guess. Indians have 3 levels of spicy. For natives, they are called mild, medium, and strong. For foreigners, they are called oh my god, please make it stop, and oh god, oh gee god, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I thought it would be strong, medium, mild, and foreigner. For like very, very, very mild. And here also, I go to an Indian restaurant almost once a week and I always get mild. I don't like hot. I can't stomach hot. I would eat it, but I want to be healthy the next day. One time, we went to a Thai restaurant in Tokyo, and I ordered explicitly like something they have like on the menu. They have what it's called, and then they have like chilies next to it. And I ordered the one without. But it was like a set, and they had a soup, which was the same for everybody. And I was so hot, I got sick. Same day. Was out for a week. What got you interested in Japan? My wife. No, actually not. My Aikido got me interested. So martial arts. And then I moved to Japan because of my wife. When will restrictions be lifted? I don't know. I think nobody knows. Totally depends on what happens in the next months with Corona. They just scream like a child. Foreigners in India eating hot food. I had a friend. He was from Persia, and he had to live in India. And for the first months, he only ate bananas. What do you eat in an Indian restaurant? The A lunch menu, which is rice, papadam, naan. They like naan here. I think it's not a very Indian thing actually, but naan, which is like roti for foreigners maybe. And what's that else in the set? Like a chicken curry thing, and maybe dal. I think that's it. And then there's a salad. And maybe you can get like a lassi or chai or something. For 850 yen, that's like $8. What is the level of hotness you choose at Kokoichi? None. How tough is the permanent citizenship? Is it to get the permanent citizenship? Depends on where you're at. So working 10 years, then you get it. Usually. And for me, I'm spouse. Usually after 3 years, you get that. And then there's like what's it called? Skilled. When you're a skilled guy, you know, and there's a visa for that, which name is not coming to mind right now. And this one, that depends on how skilled you are. You can get it after 1 year, after 3 years. I think there's a little bit of paperwork involved, especially if you're coming from a work visa and not from a spouse or skilled professional, highly skilled professional, that's the name, visa. But yeah, it's possible. Still remember though, permanent citizenship doesn't mean citizen. Not Japanese, right? Not naturalized. So still, if you commit a crime or something, you will be out in no time. after you finished your jail sentence. Try an Indian food. It's called Elish Vappa. Yeah, it's not like you can choose that. I mean, maybe if it's on the menu, but it's all very fitting to the Japanese taste, right? Any food is adjusted. I'm still alive, yeah. Live and alive. Yeah, already so long. I planned to do 1.5 hours, but now it's 2.5, and we're at the same time we would have been when we started at 9. Well then. Elish is a fish. Oh, it's too good. Fish. Oh. I think I never had an Indian fish dish. First thing, Indians eat mostly foreign dishes like chicken dishes, meat and other veggies, so spices are just for namesake. Oh, I see. It says maybe Shrikant culture. Avik Tiwari says, have you had any issues of being an outsider gaijin? How did you make Japanese friends? Yeah, I still don't know how to make friends. I know no culture, so yeah. Instead of skilled worker or highly skilled professional is, I think, when you search for that, then you find the government official pages. If you want an amazing experience, go to McDonald's in India. 200 different variants of McChicken. Wow. Do you plan on staying there for good? No. I also don't plan on leaving, but I don't know if I would stay here forever. Reason is, in my mind, it's like, yeah, living in Germany would be better for me and the family, and so, especially for the family, for the kids, and I think also for my wife, even though she doesn't acknowledge that. But I forgot how it's to live in Germany, and I actually don't know how it is to live in Germany with a family. So at least I want to go back to Germany for 4 weeks or so to see how that was before I make a decision. And since that's hasn't been possible in the last 2 years, almost, I can't say. I can not say yes, neither yes nor no. Best way to learn Japanese. I personally think what works best for you is best. So whatever keeps you going, because it's whatever way you choose, shortcuts or so don't work usually. It's just a lot of time you need to invest, and if you don't have some way that works for you, you won't. So that's the best way, the way that works for you. So there's no silver bullet or something, but where I would start is probably kanji pretty early. So hiragana, katakana, kanji, basic grammar like Genki 2 level-ish, then get into accent, pitch, and then whatever you want from there. Some Indian and Japan YouTubers say if you learn Japanese, you lose your English language slowly. Yeah, I mean, it's not Japanese, I think it's just I think if you speak English in Japan, then your English degrades because you usually have to lower your level. If you are on a high level, of course, like you would be as a native. And that's one thing. And the other thing is, if you don't speak your native language, you lose it, even if it's in your native language. Not completely, probably. But, I forget words a lot in German, and they come in another language. And this will be the same, probably. When you have a family and a job, you don't necessarily have a ton of time for socializing. That's true also, yeah. Especially here. With the job part. And especially in the last 1.5 years. One Piece. Yay. What is the main religion in Japan? Shinto, if you call it a religion, or Buddhism otherwise. One Piece is not just anime, it's too good. Johannes, me. Since you're still a German citizen, have you considered going back with your family now to get the vaccine? No. One, because my kids can't get it. Two, because we don't want to quarantine twice for 2 weeks. And three, because my wife is breastfeeding, so she also can get it. So it would be only me, then I could go back there, but I also didn't consider that. You'd probably want to live out your old age in Germany as a senior. Care isn't really a thing in Japan. As senior care isn't really a thing in Japan. I don't know though. My wife's grandma lived in some home here. Maybe in Nagano it's nicer. I don't know. Or it's a money question maybe also. I don't know. But I feel like at least the elderly in general are more active here, and that's really great to see. What I don't want to be is like, you know, you stop working and then you just sit in on your couch and watch TV all day. At least now I feel like that's terrible. Like you only have like a couple of years left, I don't know, 10, 20, and then you spend that watching TV. Is Japan super futuristic and technologically advanced? In some areas, like toilets. Probably toilets is the most. And others, no, not at all. Like fax machines around and so on. Do you watch abroad in Japan? Yes. It's one of the, I think it's maybe the only YouTube channel where I watch every video, except for the first journey across Japan. Japan is really traditional, old-fashioned and old tech in a lot of areas, yes. I mean, there's this image of robotic and so on, and sometimes they have kind of like, which is like a gimmick or so, robots, not really clever robots, just like one task or so. And that's fine, especially for YouTube videos. And but it's not that different, I think. Then, who was it again? Inakcho. I don't know where you're from, so probably if you, for me from a German perspective, it's not wow or something like that. It's so futuristic or so. There are great things here, like trains are on time and so on, which I'm sure also has something to do with technology, not just with society and culture. But it's not something like flying cars. Right, but it is certainly like having this idea. Okay, we make a new track for the train. It's mostly straight. It goes through the mountain, not over the mountain, and so on. And investing that, actually doing this investment, that's an advancement, I think. But it's not like probably what you imagine, like robots walking around or something. My wife got the Moderna vaccine and she was breastfeeding, but the child is almost 2 years, so she only gets fed about 2 to 3 times in a 24 hours period. I see. Yeah, in my company they also plan to give the Moderna, I think. Have you heard Too Much Volcano? Yes. Maybe 4 times. When you make YouTube videos, when you make YouTube videos, think you don't like, about the process of making YouTube videos. Editing, probably, which is the longest part. I mean, especially now, when I have a video that may have 8 hours of footage and need to cut this down into 15 minutes, that's really daunting. And then I like to put it off. And then once I get in, then of course it's flowing and so on. It's progressing, usually. Yeah, I used to not so much like being in front of the camera, but making it with the camera more. But now then I go out and actually get to speak to people through that. Is my window open, by the way? No. I mean, since that is happening, I enjoyed much more. I don't like sitting here in this room and talking to the camera like I'm doing now, but that's different for a video. But yeah, this part currently I like the most, and the least probably the editing. To some extent, some parts of the editing. Especially color grading, I'm still very bad at that. And searching for music takes forever, and it's really hard to estimate how long it takes. How did you meet your wife? Aikido. So both practiced, same teacher, she in Japan, me in Germany, and then at some point we had to meet, and we did, and now we lived here we'll have lived here for 5 years in about 3 weeks. No worries, symbol of death. We have all been learning English at some point. You don't have flying cars in your country? Yeah, we have them in the US. Why do you think they spend more money on the military than every other country in the world? Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they keep the flying cars underground, that's why. 8 hours in 15 minutes. What? No, I'm missing context, probably. Currently I don't get it. I think the Journey Across Japan series has turned into a parody of itself, with fake, overproduced challenges, overdone Japanese TV reactions, and no actual content. The anime man contributes is looking silly and constantly laughing. All the anime man contributes looking silly and constantly laughing. I mean, I love all of Chris's other videos. I mean, I understand it's kind of batch processing, right? Batch recording, at least, to get like the window where it's like kind of sensible to travel, keep it focused, and get it done. I also was never a fan of the challenges personally in this Journey Across Japan videos, but yeah, the first one felt a bit repetitive, and when he first said on Patreon, I want to do a daily videos, I thought like, you must be kidding. High quality daily videos, are you kidding me? And obviously it didn't work. And I also, from when he said that, I immediately knew this will take you a year. And it was a terrible thing for him. In hindsight, he said it right. So yeah, I think it's doing better with the second ones. So I'm not excited. It's all overproduced or anything. Obviously, it's not like the journey. It's much more well planned, and so on. Right? It's like, oh, we walked into this one. Obviously, this was planned for many of these occasions, but I think I like them. Which camera do you use to make travel vlogs? I used the Panasonic GH5. UFO only sees in America. Which horror movie you watched? Oh, horror movie. So I don't watch horror movies usually, so I don't know. But I watched some, of course, because I was forced by girlfriends or something years ago. But I don't remember what they were called. Do you have friends, foreigners, who are learning swordsmanship in a dojo? Is it easy to learn a martial art in Japan? Swordsmanship in a dojo. You mean Iaido or like a Kobudo, right? Like Katori Shinto Ryu. So I know a foreigner who knows somebody who does that. And a couple of my friends did, but they moved to Germany back. But martial arts, you just go there and you say you want to train. If it's a like modern, like judo, aikido, karate, and all that, you usually just go there and say you want to train, and it's okay. For the Kobudo, maybe it will be different, but I don't know. I only practice modern martial arts, aikido, and yeah, you just go there and you sign up, you pay, and then you train. Probably you also put on your gear. That's an investment. For sword stuff, Iaido. How was that? So my teacher, he used to teach. So he taught at the Aikido Hombu Dojo in Tokyo, the main dojo, and Aikikai Hombu Dojo. And before the trainings, he did Iaido with some very select students, so it was not for everybody. And when he taught in Germany, we just did it in the morning at 6 a.m. And that was just whoever got up and had a sword, you can practice there. Sword and the hakama and so on. So that's that. So I think it's not so hard. Speaking of martial arts, finally my mats arrived. When did that happen? Last week on Wednesday. So my birthday present, maybe you remember, I asked for mats, for practicing mats. And they arrived. First we purchased some, then they said they can't deliver for a private household, only for companies. So we purchased some different ones. They're white. Can you believe it? White? And they arrived. One was not good. It was too soft. Softer than the others, and also a little dirty. So we sent it back. Got a new one, also too soft. So, and my wife doesn't want to over complain, so we said we just purchased 2 more new ones. It seems to have the newer ones of them are softer. So then we have three. So we had purchased 4. Then we'll have 3 soft ones, 3 hard ones, and can align it like that. That is not so annoying. And so that's very good news for me. It was the best birthday present I ever got, I feel, as an adult. All right. That's another topic you can get me like to talk that nobody's interested in martial arts. Daniel hasn't watched his new Journey Across Japan. Maybe when it's all done, but somehow now maybe not super interested right now. I have been too preoccupied with this house stuff, maybe. Oh, yeah, I see that. Oh, thank you, Necto. Necto really loved my countryside vlog. Great content. Thank you. You're the one who watched it. If you really enjoyed it, and then please share it as much as you can, because it's pretty underperforming right now, like 500 views or so. Not really a lot, but well. Have you watched Jujutsu Kaisen anime? No, I don't even know. I didn't even know this existed until now. Do you follow Bushido? No. I mean, can you clarify that? Because I think Bushido is pretty new and rather Western concept, so I'm not sure about that. I mean, I read the Hagakure and Book of Five Rings and all that when I was rather in the beginning of my martial arts career, like I was that 16 years ago or so, 2005. I bought like lots of martial arts books. All I can get like swordsmanship and strategy and of course Aikido related stuff, and read all that. Some was interesting, some was pretty hard. Yeah, would have probably been better to read it in Japanese, but couldn't back then. It probably also couldn't now, would be a learning curve, but yeah. All right. Just found a video on YouTube. The video, a guy thinks he's God. All right. I know there's one anime where there's like Jesus and Buddha are like living in like sharing a room or an apartment. And I never watched it like long, but I think it was on Netflix even in Japan. But like, I mean, this setup already is like, oh, in a modern environment. Okay, while Iminox is complaining, I hate how YouTubers call North Honshu Island north of Japan. Yeah, I also, like I say, north of Japan, Honshu. Tohoku, you call that. There's an entire 1/5 of more Japan further north than that. It's called Hokkaido. The super north. Yeah. Mindfulness. Yeah, mindfulness to one practical right now. Or as much as I can, I would say, but not. It's sometimes hard with when the work is really stressful and so on. You know, to keep this distance and so on. Which company do you work for? I don't say. Maybe one day I will say you when I will have left this company, if I ever leave it. No, don't anime. I have to read you. Ah, yeah, on video, on YouTube. Yeah, well. Can you tell us your credit card number? Maybe also then, When I will have given back my company's credit card, then I will tell you. Hanjo Masemune. Hanjo Masemune. Let me Google him. The legendary sword, I see. Long time ago, yeah. Yeah, real sword. A couple of my Dai Senpai have trained with real swords. And you feel that, by the way. I mean, even if they don't cut you. But it's also, of course, how they... So if somebody that's advanced does a kata, you feel the lethality, if you say that, the deadliness. In what they do, and if it's a real sword, even more so. I don't know if I would ever buy one, at least since I haven't practiced EI in the last 10 years or so. Seriously, I don't see it right now. Also, probably now I would probably cut half the doors open and so on, and or even worse, damage the sword. So, and also it's really cumbersome to take care of that. Anyway, currently it's not on my calendar, not on my watch right now. Okay, Symbol of Death, it was nice having you here. Have a nice day, take care. There's a channel called Japanese Comedian Meshida, and he's got hilarious videos on Japanese culture. Oh, let me look that up later. For later. No worries, Symbol of Death, no trouble. Take care. So I'm live every Saturday on 9 p.m. at 9 p.m. Japanese time. Today was an exception, 1 hour earlier, but usually around that time at least. How's the train system by you? Is it pretty expensive, or do they rely on buses and stuff and more? In Nagano, buses more, but trains exist also. So there's a Nagano, was it Dentetsu or something? And it's, I think, the most expensive train in Japan even. It's very expensive. And then Shinkansen, obviously always expensive. Train expensive. Train Nagano expensive. Not super expensive. There are others that are okay. But buses, cars are very popular here also. My husband is from Hokkaido. Oh, it says Louise or Louis. Lois. I'm a Brit. Okay. At least it's not as bad as an English person calling someone from Scotland a northerner. They hate that. Yeah. Have you ever eaten Miyazaki mango? I don't think so. Maybe, but then I didn't know. Have you ever thought of mastering swordsmanship in the mountains and challenging famous swordsmen? No. Especially challenging somebody is rather rude, right? So I think it doesn't happen a lot. Oh no, I want to read Alminox's message. No, it's gone. And challenging a swordsman is like, it's so essentially so. I mean, how was that? Like, I can hold my breath until I die, like that, you know. So it's like it's a once in a lifetime situation, and probably, you know, isn't challenging a swordsman to prove your strength. I mean, you know, it's a sword, which is a killing instrument, so probably it's not a good idea. And there are ways to challenge somebody in martial arts, right, without real combat. I mean, if you do something like kendo, so certainly possible. If you work with a wooden sword, like a bokdo, do I have one here? No. Then yeah, it's already pretty dangerous. So you have to see. You have to see. But if you go somewhere and say you you want to fight somebody, then probably they just say, "There's the door. Go, get out. Come again in 10 years when you have some training or something." And they try claiming that the Scottish person is English, then they become really happy. Yes, I'm sure. You're from Scotland, right? Oh yeah, I love England. How do you think about the EU on Brexit? Recently, I watched actually lots of. I don't know why YouTube showed me that. YouTube started showing me the Speaker of House of Parliament saying "order," and I find it very entertaining. And I love the House of Parliament. This is the House of Parliament. House of Commons. Sorry, that's the word. House of Commons. I love that because so tight. Like the German, the Bundestag is so wide in comparison. Exactly. Order. No, I can't do that. I can't do it justice. Especially the previous one. I forgot the name. Order, order. You're out of order. Okay. So we have almost 3 hours. Oh my god, I never expected that. I thought I would do 1.5 hours today. So maybe soon. Let's give it 5 minutes or so and then slowly wind down the live stream, yeah. Daniel knows whom I'm talking about. Yeah, probably if I go on YouTube now, it will immediately recommend this for me. It says I'm live, yes. John Burko. There you go. YouTube doesn't let me down. Yes, give that like button a tap, everyone. That would be appreciated. This picture, by the way, in the thumbnail, did I shoot it? Probably in 2016. I don't know if this policeman was particularly happy about being on it, and I wouldn't use it for thumbnail if I wasn't sure it would be down in 2 days. Because obviously I didn't ask for permission. John Burko really made an impression. Yes, yes. I mean, the whole setting is so unusual for me because we have something like that. I think Bundestag's president of the Bundestag in Germany, but I don't know if this kind of people standing up and screaming and here and calling somebody right honorable gentleman or lady. That's not happening. So it's totally like impressive, certainly. And this guy too, yeah, Mr. Burko. But he stopped. He resigned maybe in 2019, right? We go through a lot of topics here, from YouTube gear to what was the other one? English speaking, then to martial arts, and now to the House of Commons. I said it before Google. Did you? Yeah, maybe before. For you, in your timeline, but not in mine, because it doesn't lag for me. So in a traditional dojo, do the sensei teach for money or for the passion of the martial arts? Probably for the passion, but then this also means that it's not professional. For many. So often it's a thing to have like a hobby, but do that very passionate. So many people do like a normal job, like a whatever, carpenter or IT guy maybe, if if they like that. So, and then they just dedicate everything else to the martial art or so, and then it's for passion. And if it's for money, then it's for money. To some extent, I think that's why I never do it for money, or I never consider doing it professionally, because I don't want to have to get money to be able to continue what I love. So I see this as a conflict. I can't do it right now. At least I don't see that. How are you, Japanese journey? Good, thank you, Silhouette FG. But we're already very close to the end. So, but still, thank you for being here and thank you for asking. Favorite movie? What came to my mind now is I forgot the name. It is a Forrest Whitaker movie. Was it Samurai Dog? Samurai something? Let me search that. But it's actually not the one. Whitaker Samurai. Yeah, Samurai Dog. Yes. No, Ghost Dog. That's the one. Ghost Dog. Yeah, Ghost Dog. Way of the Samurai. That I mix it up. I like that one, from how it was very Bushido and like that, right? And also him as an actor. But the movie actually I like the most is Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which was not so well received by critics, I think. But for me, at that point in time, I was like, should I really do this? Like go to Japan and so on. And this movie is about doing the things, essentially. Getting out of your comfort zone, and that's why I did it. And that's why I like it. I haven't seen it in a while. Checked it on Netflix, it's not here. Not in Japan, at least. Yes, and now about Scottish people again, probably. No, not Scottish. House of Commons, sorry. Has been replaced with a real northerner. I wonder what Japanese politics would be like if they had big personalities. Yeah, true. Current Prime Minister. I love British English, by the way, especially Northern English. I don't understand anything, but it's lovely. And of course also the everything that's not Oxford English, as we call it, what we are learning in school in Germany. It's great. Sometimes I watch like old documentations from the 70s or so, like postmen from Ireland delivering by bike, and I don't understand a word, almost. If there were no subtitles, I would be lost. Is it true that Japanese don't look at your university degree when you apply for a job? Yeah, I can imagine. I don't know really, but I think so. Depends. I mean, there are still universities where it counts, where you have to learn also when you are there, like Tokyo University and maybe Keio and so on, Waseda. But probably for the most part, I would say they don't. I think what's the hardest about studying, from my understanding, for most universities in Japan, is getting into the university. Angela Merkel also has famous moments showing US presidents exactly her opinion of them. Yeah, that's probably a German thing. You will have issues in Japan with that, by the way. If you want, for example, you want to be a software developer, but you have no computer degree and they still accept you. Oh, yeah, certainly. So I mentioned before in the stream, it's about like how would you expect somebody to have experience anyway in something after just when they're just starting the job. So this no experience thing, this can be fixed. So that's that. What do they actually look for at hiring? I don't know, because I never hired Japanese people, so I can't really say. When Theresa May met Putin, it was quite a funny encounter. She looked miserable. The Japanese care much more about which university you went to as opposed to what subject you studied. I think so too. and for which it's probably also like rather limited of like, yeah, Tokyo, Kyoto, Keio, Waseda, and there are a couple of names, you know, that ring a bell, but some are just like Shinshu University, who cares? Which is in Nagano. Or in my case, like, right, who here knows about universities from Munich? If it's not Oxford or Yale or something, Cambridge, then probably, maybe Cambridge. To live is to risk it all. Otherwise, you're just an inert chunk of randomly assembled molecules drifting wherever the universe blows you. Okay, I have a different, I have a contrary and similar opinion in that. I want to say, I don't think you live. I mean, when you don't live, when you don't risk it, when you don't make an effort to go out of your comfort zone, maybe it's the same opinion. Is it life, right? I mean, just doing the same over and over again. I think it's. I think it would probably be a very unhappy life, actually. A Japanese film or drama you would recommend to learn about martial arts, preferably recent? No idea. I don't know if of any that's good. Your English sounds like British English. Thank you. I heard it before from an American, actually. When was it? 2018. Probably it sounded different then. But maybe that's also because in Germany we learn British English, which means we use British words, like elevator instead of lift, or was it the other way around? I don't know. With a German accent. And because I've been in much more American English environments, so now I speak probably more American stuff. Sometimes I get comments like, why is this American dude speaking like he's like a Japanese? Because apparently my English is also, for some people, sounds like Japanese English. Well, my husband says, your brother is a great guy, but I have no idea what he's saying. What's your nationality? It's German. The world is so desperate for software engineers that it's pretty much unnecessary for you to go to uni as long as you know your stuff. Japan cannot be picky on that front. But still, if you don't go to uni and you don't have experience, you don't get in. So while they cannot be picky, laws change slowly here. As a famous football coach said, no risk it, no biscuit. Nice. Like that one. I mean, we have a lot of famous football quotes in Germany, but I think they're hard to translate. Okay, it's over 3 hours already. Oh my god. I want to land. So probably it's the longest ever now. I think the longest was exactly 3. Now we have 3 hours and 3 minutes. How long have you been in Japan and any plan to return back to Germany? IG. I don't know what IG stands for. I've been, so next month it will be 5 years. And plan not yet, not right now, but also no definitive plan to stay here forever. Have a nice night. That's what I wanted to say. Next live session on Saturday at 9 p.m. Japanese time. That's UTC plus 9. So I don't know where I'm from in actual. So Germany, that would be 2 p.m. Britain, then probably 1 p.m. I guess. If you have daylight savings time, I think so in Britain. Yeah, so that's that. Silhouette says, I heard people English accents sound Portuguese and even Spanish, but never have I heard a non-Japanese English sound English. Coincidence? I think not. Good night. Okay, I completely didn't follow that one, but good night. Yes, everybody, thank you so much for tonight. Had a blast. Thank you for all the donations. It's really appreciated. We got $43.34 and 50 RON, which are about 10 euros, I hear. So about 55-ish dollars, I think. So pretty good, I think. It's more than $10 an hour. And we're getting really close to the drone. I mean, to the half. Now we have a third, so next is half. Okay. Then, let me quickly go through here. Good night, Britain does have summertime, so it would be 1 p.m. Okay. Never have I heard a non-Japanese English sound Japanese. Ah, I see. Adios, Mount Wortley. It was a typo. Have a nice night. Gute Nacht. Good night. Thank you for the fun content. Thank you for watching, and thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. Again, if you really like my content, then please share it with anybody who could be interested. And cheerio, everyone. Yes. Great last words for tonight. Again, next live stream is on Saturday at 9 p.m. Japanese time. Guten Morgen. Not yet morning. Not yet morning. 2 hours, then the Germany versus Portugal game will start. So I have to get going. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.